But he got a flag down.
Oofside.
Everyone but the center. Offense.
You're listening to Oofsides on Track and Turf Media.
Talk about playoffs?
But they are who we thought they were.
Who's gonna win it all?
Football!
And who is Dunyan Rings?
You play to win the game.
Live from the Dieter Brock studio.
Don't let these tears fool you. There's all a dog around this mug.
Here's the crew that's bringing it all to you.
Football.
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 Yeah, hey all, how's it going? Welcome
Hey.
to Oofsides, a show
Doing
for
great.
nice people.
Yeah.
So got to watch some good football this weekend with friend of the show Michael Morata. Things didn't turn out as great for him. Turned out great for me though, so I'm
Yeah.
feeling pretty good this week.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how was that trip?
It was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Got personally injured at the Opeth concert by headbanging too much, but otherwise great trip. Did a lot of stuff. We found Brady Quinn trading cards at our local baseball card place.
Oh my god.
And
Hell yeah.
oh god, I should have bought one.
You should
And he
have.
would have immediately thrown it out into the sewer as soon as we walked out. That would have been fantastic.
It's a collectible.
I still to this day regret not buying that autographed OJ jersey from that store.
I didn't
And how much
see that.
more that would cost now?
I did not see that there when I went in, but I did see an autographed Antonio Brown jersey.
Oh god.
Speaking of
Like, had
assets,
so
that
much
will
energy.
I was
appreciate
gonna
value.
Surely he's not doing anything dumb this week, right?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
I wonder
God.
what could trump that.
And
Oh,
Well,
God.
based on that bad pun, I guess we should just get right into the show. And it started on Thursday night, November. Sorry,
So
November
close.
10th. Shut the fuck up. November 24th, 1980. The New Orleans Saints got their asses whooped on Monday Night Football in front of their home crowd, 27-7 by the Rams. And that was the night that the Aints came out. And that was the night that introduced the wearing of paper bags over fans' faces to sporting events. And here we are, 44 years later, back in the Superdome, and the Aints are back, as well as Sean Payton and Drew Brees, as the Saints get absolutely rolled by the Broncos, 33-10. That score is pretty generous for how bad this game was for New Orleans, I feel like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
from-
33-3 until a garbage time touchdown with was it like a minute left or something? Like effectively it was 33-3. The Broncos just it was another game where Bo Nix just really didn't have to do a whole lot, but everything else just kind of fell into place, and the Saints just keep free falling further and further from where they were after week 2.
Yeah, remember when this team started 2-0? What happened?
They
I
scored
can't
like
remember
90-something points through the first two games.
I can't remember what year it was, but maybe it was like 2013 or 14, somewhere around there, where the Texans started 2-0, and they looked really, really good in those two games, and they lost out to end the year and finished 2-14.
It was the 2013 team, and Matt Schaub threw, I'm pretty sure, pick sixes in 4 consecutive games at one point during
Good
that season.
God. Now,
including an overtime game loser to the Ravens.
Now, I don't know if the Saints are going to go 15 straight losses to end the year and finish 2-15, but they're also looking progressively worse every single week. And it's hard for them, I think, at this point to find any sort of hope and to rebound from where they are to get to where they were.
Yeah, losing Derek Carr didn't help.
No, not at all.
Spencer Rattler's in an impossible situation right now, but the whole team is just not doing anything.
He was
They just
okay,
don't have
all
any
things
production.
considered.
Which,
can't do much.
okay, is okay, but
It's not enough.
they're not scoring.
Yeah.
Well, the low light of this game was that strip sack
Oh
where
my
he
god.
drops the
Oh,
snap
man.
and like bounces it to himself, picks it up, and then gets stripped of the ball, like trying to throw it away, and that goes for a touchdown. And that was probably the moment where the team like completely cratered. And this, we talked about this last week, that there was no game this season I think that Sean Payton was going to want to win more than this game, because it was his homecoming back to New Orleans, a team that he and Drew Brees in all likelihood saved, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how lost it is to history, but the Saints were seriously considering moving to LA after Hurricane Katrina, and it was the '06 acquisitions of Peyton and Breeze that turned the Saints from perpetual laughingstock into the consistent contender that they were. And so this was the game that they also inducted Drew Brees into the Team Hall of Fame, and he was there at halftime, and he did like the whole victory chant and everything. And you could tell that the fans that were there in attendance like stuck around basically for that and then left.
Pretty
It
much.
was a pretty dismal atmosphere after that. All right, cool.
I mean, let's be honest. It's a Thursday night game. Al Michaels is being cryogenically thawed every evening to call these games. Nothing else really happens. Like, I think instead of doing a Thursday game, they should just give these teams a bye, so they're actually doing something better with their time.
Yeah. So also, I was doing the math real quick because I'd heard this earlier and I forgot. So for the first two games of the season, the Saints outscored their opponents 91-29. Since then, they've scored 86 points in 5 games and they've given up 151.
Oh man.
Oh,
There's also a ridiculous stat about Dennis Allen's career coaching record, because it's ridiculous how bad it is. So he's 26-51, and so he is 25 games under 500 career, which is not great, obviously.
Less than optimal.
Somebody did the math. The Saints would have to win out this season, win the Super Bowl, and then win their first 12 games of next season for him to reach 500 career.
I think they could do it.
what was that? What was that stat from a couple years ago where like wasn't it something like Bill Belichick would have to lose like 150 straight games to equal Gus Bradley's winning percentage or some shit?
Oh my god! Actually, I could figure that out right now. Hang on.
I can't. I remember seeing it. It was like 2019 or whatever. I can't remember the exact number, but it was something ridiculous like that, where Gus Bradley was that bad in Jacksonville.
So Gus Bradley's 4 seasons in Jacksonville, he went 4-12, 3-13, 5-11, and then started 2-12, and then got fired.
Oh, Christ.
That is a winning percentage of .226.
What's
Not great.
Urban Meyer's for reference?
I think he had the same 2-12 record, if I recall correctly.
2-11. It was 2-11.
Oh, okay. So he's better than Gus Bradley. Okay, this is the funniest thing about the Jags during those 4 seasons. They were not the worst team in the AFC South.
No,
They were third in the division every single time. God. Yeah, I mean, I'm genuinely surprised that we've made it to Tuesday and Dennis Allen didn't get fired for this.
Yeah, I don't see him making it through the end of the year at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this was we've all everybody's kind of known that the Saints are not a contender anymore. They have good talent, but they're not a
enough.
great team, you know. They have good players like Chris Olave, who left this game with a nasty concussion.
Another
Tyrann
one.
Mathieu dropped an easy interception in this game, which is something he never does. Cam Jordan's still there. Taysom Hill, I mean, he's out with injury right now. There's a ton of talent on this team, but it's, you know, like another team that we'll talk about from Sunday night. They have all of these like skill positions they have great players at, but they don't have a good core. And that is just an end result of this team constantly kicking the can down the road because they, you know, wanted to keep their window open while they had Drew Brees, and now they're paying the price. And they've kept it together the last few years with like duct tape and popsicle sticks. But this night, like, truly showed that it's like the Saints are in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, it's over.
I
Yeah.
think
Like with the deadline approaching, this is a good time as any to sell, to be honest.
Yeah, watch
And
for
just-
Cam Jordan and Tyrann Mathieu to get sent to a contender somewhere.
Yeah.
I think where the Patriots are right now, the Saints are going to be next year in 2026, where they're just going to end up ripping the Band-Aid completely off and shedding some of the older veterans that have a lot of cap space and just start again from the ground up and just see where they go.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I was gonna say the Patriots are there, the Titans are there, and now the Saints are definitely joining them there. So
The Cleveland Browns could be there as well.
yeah, more on that later. Speaking of the Patriots, though, I guess we'll kick it over to Sunday, where the third and final London game of the season saw the Jacksonville Jaguars get back on track with potentially a job-saving win by Doug Peterson, as they beat the New England Patriots 32-16.
I woke up early for that.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, luckily you did get to see Drake May played pretty well. That's the
one
takeaway I've
silver
heard
lining.
from a lot of people. Yeah. So, what were your thoughts on this game, Dewey?
I mean, mixed bag, because the first quarter looked pretty great and then the first half of the second quarter looked pretty great. They jumped out to a 10-0 lead, and it was like, maybe they have a legit chance at winning. And then the defense said, yeah, we're not doing anything anymore. Like, the defensive faucet was turned off, cut off from the source, and the Jags just went down the field like 3 or 4 possessions in a row and looked unstoppable, which, for an offense that had been sputtering as much as it was a remarkable mid-game turnaround.
Yeah, it looked like it was gonna get ugly for the Jags early again. You know, like you said, they jump out to a 10-point advantage. And so the Jags scored after that, and then I think the backbreaker was a 96-yard punt return from Parker Washington. And that kind of opened the floodgates, and then after that, the Jags just never looked back. And this was like, you know, this game was definitely a preview of, like, this is what the Jaguars have been trying to build this whole time. It's a lot like what we talked about last week. We're like, this is an objectively talented team. They're just not playing up to their potential at all. And this was a game they absolutely had to win. Otherwise, Doug Peterson was going to be, the same joke I made from last week, be doing some Ted Lasso shit from here on out.
Yeah, and I mean, again, another poor defensive showing, and there were some pretty stupid penalties that they took in this game. And I think I don't want to beat the, Bill Belichick bush to dead or anything like that, but I think a lot of the mental errors that this team has made in its first 7 games probably would not have happened if Bill Belichick was still the coach. I think some of this is just the inexperience of Gerard Mayo as a head coach trying to, regroup a team after, a couple of poor games. And so I think, like, this roster is really going to have to grow with him as opposed to it growing under somebody with a lot of experience. And I think part of the issue as well is he hired a very inexperienced coaching staff around him. Like, DeMarcus Covington had never been a defensive coordinator prior to this year. I think Alex Van Pelt's only offensive coordinator experience was Cleveland, like 2 years ago. Like, he hired 2 relatively inexperienced coordinators, and for a rookie head coach, probably not the greatest decisions to make. And so you combine all of it together, and it's, yeah, this team isn't good. They're a bottom 5 team in the NFL, but they could still be playing better than they are.
Yeah, there was there's an interesting post-game press conference comment from Gerard Mayo also, where he called his team defense soft. Yeah, I know part of that was he included himself in that, but it's still not great.
For your 7th game as a head coach to immediately be going to throwing your team under the bus, I think that's pretty damning that he might not be the answer for the future of this team.
And there was the whole thing too with Jalen Polk not getting a lot of targets, and then he slipped and fell on that 2-point conversion attempt, and then he kind of personally called out Jalen Polk after the game too, and it's like, man. And then there was something leaked where like KJ Osborne was texting his agent about something, and his agent was like, "Yeah, we're gonna figure this situation out," and it's like, oh, come on. So
yeah, and
yeah.
it's especially not good when like the whole selling point of Gerard Mayo was like he's like the softer, nicer Bill Belichick, right? Like the whole
No, not really.
hard-nosed Patriot way is a thing of the past, and he's like, no, it looks like it's still the same.
The one silver lining from this game, though, is Drake May did join Dan Marino as the only 2 quarterbacks since the merger to have 500 or more passing yards and 5 or more passing touchdowns through their first 2 career starts, which is pretty good company to have, especially with a roster as weak as this one is.
I can't believe nobody else has done that.
Yeah, Drake May, pretty good.
Yeah. So
he is the lone bright spot on that team.
Yeah, that is the one thing I feel like Patriots fans can look forward and be like, all right, and it's not like when Mac Jones was there and it was like he just looked like a mini Tom Brady, right? Like this is okay, like we have a dude in Drake May.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, like I said last week, the rest of this year is going to suck, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that at all. But at least again now, as long as he stays healthy and keeps this up, it's something to look forward to still. It's the diamond in the rough now instead of it just being the rough. So they're 1-6, and they haven't. The last time they lost 6 in a row was fucking 1993, which was Drew Bledsoe's rookie year. So it's not great, but I think it's looking a little better, at least future-wise, than it did 2 weeks ago.
So you're telling me in 8 years, Drake May is gonna be injured, and it's almost gonna kill him, and then you're gonna get another star quarterback for the next 20 years?
Shit, I guess.
Oh God.
We'll see how that goes.
Oh, I don't need that.
Tune in next week when Dewey brings us his scouting reports for for all the high school freshmen right now. So
yeah, that 14-year-old kid from whatever random high school in Louisiana right now, you watch out. He's gonna lead this team to 6 more Super Bowls. You ain't ready for it. That kid's the real deal.
Speaking of the real deal. Hey!
Well, I was going to say Tank Bigsby.
Oh, I was going to say Geno Smith.
Well, yeah.
He did have a hell of a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Geno Smith, Seattle Seahawks. Who'd they play? They beat the shit out of the Atlanta Falcons 34-14 on Sunday.
They did.
Geno threw 207 yards and 2 touchdowns. Are the Seahawks starting to figure it out again?
I think they might be.
They're going on a slide, but I think they're starting to pull back out of it.
They had a weirdo stretch there, and this was definitely the tune-up that I feel like they needed.
Not just that, but this division is looking more and more winnable by the week. And if the Seahawks can get it really, if this is their launching pad for the rest of the year, all of a sudden they might be hosting a playoff game come January.
Oh yeah, they could definitely capitalize here with the Rams and the Niners falling apart. It's a weird situation to be in, having Seattle bottom out and then immediately be that good over the span of a season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you look at their 3 losses, it's to a great Lions team, which, Geno still played excellent in that game. And if not for a late interception where I think it was DK Metcalf runs the wrong route, they're right in that game. They are a blocked field goal away from beating the Giants, and then just couldn't get out of their way against the 49ers last week. So I was a little concerned that they were giving up all of these important games, but this is still a really solid team. They got DK back involved with the offense a bunch in this game. He scores a touchdown. Kenneth Walker has another big game on the ground. But I think the biggest thing was their defense finally came to play. And they forced Kirk Cousins out of the lineup, not even by injury.
Yeah, we saw
Yeah.
Michael Penix in a game for the first time.
Which weirdly he only attempted one pass, which was strange, but
We got a Jackson Smith and Jigba pass in this game too, and it was like 35 yards.
oh my gosh. I wonder, like, if what this means, because Kirk had not a very good game. He was struggling, 2 interceptions. Also fumbled it at one point. Do we just roll with Penix? I mean, that seems like kind of a knee-jerk reaction. It might have also been partially just this game's over, get the starter out of there, but
Yeah, I
I
wouldn't
don't
put
know.
too much stock in that. I mean, this is the same guy that threw for 500 yards 3 weeks ago
yeah.
and led a game
It's
winning
not-
drive in overtime.
It's not time to get rid of Kirk just yet.
Yeah, I think
mean-
this was definitely more of like, let's not get Kirk hurt. This
Yeah.
game's not winnable.
Yeah.
Which will be a theme that comes up later also.
Oh.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just interesting. So I would say if you're Kirk Cousins, you're probably thankful that like Michael Penix basically didn't do anything. He was just like a meat servo to hand off the ball. But yeah.
King of handing off to Bijan.
Yep. Also, Kyle Pitts, 7 receptions for 65 yards. That's like 2 straight games for him. So caught 7
Good
of his
for
9
him.
targets. Yeah.
He's finally playing football for the
Yeah.
first time in 5 years.
God, I forgot about the Saints game where he didn't even have a catch. That was bad.
God. Falcons are a weird team, man. What the
They
hell
really
are they
are.
doing?
They are.
The entire NFC South is weird. I just don't know what to make of them.
Bizarro football.
Yeah. A team that I do know what to make of, which also plays bizarro football. Actually, this applies for both teams in this matchup. The Buffalo Bills beat the Titans 34-10. This looked like it could have been a disaster early. For the Bills, they fall down 10-0 early to the Mason Rudolph led offense. Oh my god, why am I drawing a blank on Will Levis? Will Levis misses this game with an injury that he sustained last week. Might have been a kind of quiet benching that they gave him. Who knows? And Josh Allen did not get off to a good start in this game. I think he was like 4 for 11 through the first quarter. And then they score a touchdown before half, and then the floodgates opened up after that. And it was 34 unanswered points for the Bills, including touchdown by new acquisition Amari Cooper. There is a stat in this game just how bad the Titans were after that initial scoring flurry. Before their final drive of the game, they had, in the second half, 10 yards of offense.
Jesus Christ!
Oh man.
Oh!
They turned it over on downs, and then punt, interception, and then a short drive. It was just
Good
terrible.
God.
And I've already seen people like starting to question like Brian Callahan as a head coach. Like, why did we fire Mike Rabel? Is this really our guy?
Yeah, I still don't
Yeah.
understand that.
They're gonna regret that
Like,
one, I think.
I
Yeah.
I think it was the right move to move on from Vrabel, but I think they got the wrong guy as their next coach.
Yeah, I mean they obviously were just trying to get a Shanahan guy. I mean, I thought the Vrabel firing was weird. That was his first losing season.
Yeah. Like
Um,
I get it from like a standpoint of like the Andy Reid Eagles tenure
yeah,
in that he's a good guy, but sometimes you just need to move on. But even then, if you're doing something like that, you want to make sure the next guy coming in is more than just, oh, he served under Shanahan, you know?
yeah, exactly.
It's
Um,
that most coaching hires in general, I know it's hard to get that experience, but there's never really that guy that stands out that often.
Yeah. Man, it's a good thing nobody on this podcast was like, hey, I think the Titans might be kind of, I think they're a little slept on this season.
Yeah, I wonder who
that would
said
be
that.
really embarrassing if like the host of a podcast on Track and Turf had said that. So
Fuck.
almost as bad as when I let you guys talk me into liking the Colts going into 2022 because I was like, I think the Saints are going to win the Titans are going to win the division. And then fucking Garrett was like, "Nah, the Colts are gonna be really good," and I was like, "Yeah, maybe they will be," and then they were some butt ass shit.
We're just
God.
really bad at predicting AFC South football, huh?
Is anybody good at picking it?
No, it's just runs off of chaos.
I picked the Jaguars as my division champion for this season.
Why did you do that?
I thought they were gonna bounce back.
Well, what did we learn?
Don't trust the Jaguars.
True.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway though, like the Amari Cooper trade, even if it wasn't like, a great game from the Bills necessarily, like he's gonna give them an element to their offense that they desperately needed, because that allows Keon Coleman to go off for 125 yards, and they ran the ball pretty solidly. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
that
Bills-
was a move they needed to make,
absolutely,
and that got them prepped for later this season.
yeah.
It feels right having a star wide receiver like that on the Bills.
Oh yeah.
They felt naked without in that gap between Diggs and Cooper.
Yeah, because it was just like, they had a few good games where, I guess like the best way to describe it is like more variety in the passing game. They're relying on one less person, but in the end, or not one less person, but relying only on one person. But in the end, you still need that guy who's your go-to player, like when you need a big completion. And
Yeah.
like you're not gonna win a lot of big games if you don't have somebody you can rely on. So,
Mm-hmm.
so
Would
Bills...
like to
Okay.
would like to give a shout out to DeAndre Hopkins' stat line for this game.
Okay.
1 target, 1 reception for -2 yards with a fumble.
Yeah,
wants
we had
out.
more
What
receiving yards
happened?
than D-Hop this week.
Well,
What happened, man?
he has to catch Mason Rudolph's passes. That's a big part of
But
it.
Mason is known for throwing good balls. What
Is he?
happened?
I
Uh-huh.
don't know. Anyway, look for him on the trade block coming soon also.
Man, I got no support there.
I don't know, because like Levis
watch Mason Rudolph
might
very
not
much.
be healthy for the next game. They might need to keep Mason Rudolph just to start somebody.
I can't believe
Like I don't
the
even
big
know who their other
2020
quarterbacks are.
No. Having watched Mason Rudolph play for several years, he is a good football player handicapped by bad teams. Nobody was going to put up any sort of stat in a Matt Canada offense. That, looking back to how he played in college, there's no way he shouldn't be the top quarterback in the NFL. I think he'll have like a Geno Smith kind of resurgence at some point.
I could see it.
Yeah. Well, and the thing with Mason Rudolph too is like he's never been like turnover prone. I feel like he's just boring.
Yeah.
He
Well,
just doesn't.
Miles Garrett
He's not
turned
the
over that
flashy-
helmet onto his head that one
Yeah,
time.
yeah, that too.
He's just not the sexy, flashy quarterback that a lot of people want to see in a game.
Which
Yeah.
is weird because that's what he was in college. And then he just got put into the worst offensive system in
Well,
the NFL.
To be completely fair, I think he also benefited from just playing in the Big 12 in college.
Yeah.
Like he was definitely that in college, but a lot of that was just like the Big 12 like doesn't really play any defense.
Yeah,
And
that's
they
just
just
how that
Chuck
football
the
is.
ball. Like, yeah. Again, still could be good because obviously that's the same conference that brought us, Mahomes and Mayfield and Kyler Murray, etc. But at the
Exactly.
same time, they're not always that in the league either.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! Yeah, he threw for 4,500 yards and 35 touchdowns in his last year.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Oh
That's
god,
Big
I'm
12
looking
for you.
So on his Wikipedia page is there, like, for the 2019 season, there's 2 pictures, and the first one is Rudolph takes a snap against the Cleveland Browns, and it's like the play right before Myles Garrett tries to kill him, and then the next picture is Myles Garrett trying to kill him.
A story in 2 pictures.
Oh, God. I don't want to think about that night.
Oh man. Good
Well, now you're
times.
thinking about it.
You know what I'm going to start thinking about?
What's
What?
that?
Deshaun Watson's leg snapping.
Yeah.
I
Speaking of
feel
Myles
like-
Garrett,
I feel like the dog that caught its tail. I've been cheering for this all season, and now that I have it, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, so we should get into it. The Bengals traveled to Cleveland. They beat the Browns 21-14. I believe that's Joe Burrow's first win in Cleveland.
Yes,
I think
it
it's
is.
his first win against the Browns, period.
I think he beat them at home last season, but
Did he?
yeah, but I think that this is like only his like first or second win against the Browns.
Ow.
And the Browns made him work for it. Like they did not look very good on offense. But yeah, you mentioned, the big story in this game was Deshaun Watson goes down with a non-contact injury. It's a ruptured Achilles. You could see it. I mean, you could see it rupture and like ripple up his calf.
Yeah,
it's
it
always,
did.
Yeah,
He's done.
it was
always
it was
tough
one
to
of
watch.
those. It was one of those where as soon as it happened, you knew exactly what it was.
Yeah, because I mean,
It
he's
was
in the
just-
middle of his drop back, isn't he? And then he just falls.
Yeah.
It was like the same thing as when Kevin Durant tore his Achilles in the playoffs like 5 years ago when he went
Yeah,
to
you
drive.
just
It's
saw
like,
it completely
it is
snap.
the elephant in the room.
Which he said he's going to do the same recovery process as Aaron Rodgers. So we'll see.
Did he
if
actually?
Yes.
Oh boy.
So we'll see if that happens or not.
Just
But-
two normal guys working together.
Despite that, they had Jameis Winston listed as the third stringer because he's hurt. So in came Dorian Thompson-Robinson in the year of our Lord 2024. And he wasn't that bad.
So
It kind of was.
he threw 2 interceptions.
That's not that bad.
Well,
the
he
only
also
touchdown in this game was thrown by Jameis.
he was, I think, 11 of 24 for 82 yards.
Yeah, he wasn't that
And
good.
2 picks. He was actually
That's not bad.
Actually, pretty bad.
No, that's not bad. Think about how many handoffs he had to freshly
Nick Chubb.
returned Nick Chubb. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that
Who
is
got
one
a
of the.
touchdown?
That is probably the. Like sometimes the universe just tells stories naturally, and this is a prime example because it's the game that Nick Chubb returns from his devastating knee injury a year ago, and Deshaun Watson suffers his own one, and like we all know what Deshaun Watson has been accused of, right? Like I'm not the one to celebrate injuries, but I'm also not gonna sit here and be upset about what happened to Deshaun Watson. But there is just this kind of perfect, almost like passing of the torch of like an evil force leaves and the good force returns, you know?
To me, it has like the same energy as Richard Petty's last race being Jeff Gordon's first race.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like we're almost back on the road of the Browns being likable again, you know?
Maybe.
No.
I
A
would
little
tread carefully with that. Like
No.
maybe,
Almost.
but we're a long way away from that
Mm.
becoming a reality.
No.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
I mean, yeah, still
All
absolutely
makes sense
fuck
for
them,
you,
but
I'm
I'm just glad to have Nick Chubb back. So
Yeah.
actually,
absolutely.
I do want to piggyback off that a little bit. Did either of you see what Myles Garrett said about Deshaun Watson after the game?
yeah, so
Uh,
it's one of those things. He's your guy. You gotta have.
I
your guys
get
back.
it, but
I
man,
get it. It is telling though that like he had more things to say about the people's response. He was basically defending Deshaun Watson towards fans celebrating his injury more than anybody in the Cleveland Browns have defended the 24 women he is accused of sexually assaulting.
Yeah.
So I get it. You know, like if you're Myles Garrett and you're the captain of the team, you can't go out there and not say anything. But it's still not a good look.
it's
So,
Yeah,
towing
not-
the PR line is what it is.
yeah.
You can't win.
You don't want to speak bad about your teammate, even though he has the baggage he does. But you don't
Yeah.
want to go out there and I don't know, like, yeah, there really wasn't a winnable way for him to go about that. But
It's
someone had to
damned
do
if you
it.
do and damned if you don't.
yeah,
That's just
And
why
it's-
I really don't blame him for saying that kind of stuff. Because it is wrong to cheer for injuries. Not so much for Deshaun Watson, but for the guy that you see every single day that's your teammate, your leader, probably your friend. You know,
Well-
it makes sense to condemn that.
Well, that's exactly the thing, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but like, and I'll tread carefully saying this, but I'm sure, maybe, that there are probably things that people in the Browns know about Deshaun Watson, about him as a person, that they probably view in a favorable manner, that they can separate from all the things he's been accused of. Like maybe he has a good quality or two that we don't know about. Who the hell knows? Maybe they know, and that's what they're speaking about. But in terms of what we know, it's still weird hearing it phrased like that in the public eye. So,
I just think it's one of those things where if you walk out there and you're like, yeah, thank God, let's go get Jameis. He would
that fucking
be,
guy's out of here.
Yeah, he would be left there. He would have been released on the spot.
Yeah.
It's just what you have to do, even if it's something that you don't agree with on a fundamental level.
yeah.
Should also
It is
mention
what it
too
is.
with the quarterback situation. So, from what I've heard, Dorian Thompson-Robinson was actually listed as the backup, apparently because, or people theorized that if Deshaun didn't improve this game, he was going to get benched, and DTR is the guy that the Browns want to see if they have anything in. Like, they want to see if this guy's worth it, so they're like, all right, we'll list him as the backup because this season's lost. At this point, it's not really about fielding a competitive team if Deshaun stinks it up again in this game. It's a matter of, what do we have for the future? Do we need to be looking for a quarterback with likely the first or second overall pick next year? And then he exits the trade for
Panthers, come on down.
You guys want to ruin Arch Manning in a couple years? And then, DTR goes out with an injury. Jameis comes in. And there was a fun stat about this game. This Browns team in this game is the first team since the 2008 Kansas City Chiefs to have 3 different players all attempt 10-plus passes in the same game.
Huh.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Huh.
2 of them were Brody Croyle and Damon Huard, so I can't remember who the third one was. But
oh, God.
Yeah. And also the Bengals won, because we really haven't talked about them.
Yeah.
They were... Yeah. T. Higgins had a pretty good game. That was about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase got a touchdown, and that's AFC North football between the Browns and the Spite Browns. That's how those games go.
Yep. And that was that. We move on to the AFC North, the NFC North, where the Green Bay Packers advanced to 5-2 with their victory over the Houston Texans. We always talk about how it's insane how the Packers just keep finding Hall of Fame quarterbacks, just one after the other. I do appreciate that they found the next Brett Favre, because Jordan Love, man, that boy, he just loves to sling the football. Let me tell you, go out there and show them boys one more thing.
Fuck it, Romeo Doubs down there somewhere.
He's never seen a tight window he didn't want to throw into.
Before we go any deeper into this game, I do want to point out one of Jordan Love's passing touchdowns in this game was to Josh Jacobs, and you might be wondering, well, why is that significant? Quarterbacks throw passing touchdowns to running backs all the time. Well, I'll have you know, this is the first receiving touchdown in Josh Jacobs' entire career.
That is an absurd stat. He's been in the league for close to 10 years, hasn't he?
He was drafted in 2019. It took him 5.5 years to get his first receiving touchdown in the NFL. He finally fucking did it.
Fucking ridiculous.
Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah, this game was a little nuts. Like we mentioned, Jordan Love, 2 interceptions alongside 3 touchdowns. I'm trying to bring up his numbers for this year because it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, he's 15 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in 5 games. So
that's awesome.
He's just slinging it to wherever.
It really is. Brett
as
Favre,
long as it's
generation.
completion, it doesn't matter to which team.
Yeah.
As long as the ball ends up in somebody's hands.
The big story though was that the Packers defense just completely shut down C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
Because he was less than 50% completion percentage. Didn't even crack 100 yards. Leading receiver was Dalton Schultz with 1 reception for 28 yards. I mean, Joe Mixon carried the offense in this game 25 carries for 115. This team misses Nico Collins. Like,
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, they do.
He was 100% like the X factor for this
Yeah.
offense.
Their guy.
Um,
Is there a
and
time frame for him to come back yet?
I'm not sure. Let me check.
He was put on IR, I think, 2 weeks ago, so I think he's out at least 2 more games.
Okay.
I believe you would be correct. Yeah.
Which this team, Houston's still good as it is, but they need him back.
Yeah, because this
For
offense
sure.
has been a little disappointing so far. Mostly the O line, like they just cannot pass protect.
Yeah.
I don't have the stats pulled up right now, and I forgot to write it down when I heard it yesterday. But the Packers' pressure rate was absurd in this game. It was
And they
just
sacked him 4
ridiculous.
times.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if I had much else to say about this game. Other than the NFC North is just nuts.
Yep. And Jordan Love is really fucking good, and it
Yeah.
scares me.
The
The entire NFC North could make the playoffs this year, and that is just weird to think about.
They are all currently in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, through week 7, 3 of them have 5 wins, and the only reason why the Bears don't is because they already had their bye.
Yeah. Yeah,
The Lions and Vikings managed to win 5 before their bye.
as of right now, they are the 1, 5, 6, and 7 seeds. So yeah.
Yeah,
That's terrifying.
I have to be honest, it would be pretty fascinating to see an entire division send its teams to the playoffs, because I don't think it has like ever happened in any sport in the U.S. before. It'd be kind of fun to see it.
Okay.
I think the AFC North had 3 teams one year, but
Yeah,
not
a couple
all
have done
4.
3, but never all 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3 teams has happened quite a few times. Obviously, yeah, the Bengals, Steelers, and Ravens did it a couple times. I know in 2017 you had the Saints, Falcons, and Panthers all made it from the South. But yeah, now that we're in the 3 wild card era, like I want to see all 4 teams from one division go to the playoffs. I think that'd be really
And this
fun.
is probably the best
Yeah.
chance we have since the playoffs expanded.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, 2 teams that are not going to be in the playoffs. Although one of them is currently sitting as a 6th seed, but I do not believe in them. The Colts beat the Dolphins 16-10.
This game was ass.
Did this game actually happen?
Allegedly. I don't necessarily believe that it did.
This is the kind of thing that you just read like a newspaper report about it. Anybody could have put anything in there because who was there to check?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
Tyler Huntley got hurt in this game, so we got another wild Tim Boyle appearance.
Hell yeah.
How does he have a job?
I don't know.
That man is really good in the film room.
If you've never looked up Tim Boyle's college stats, they're fucking terrible. Like, I don't know how anybody signed him after he graduated.
He just needs to be a coach or something, because clearly he can break down plays in the film room or something, but he's just not a good football player.
He's got to be like late stage career Jeff Francoeur, how he's just a really good dude, and that's why everybody keeps signing him. Like they just like
Casey
having him
Mears.
around. Yeah,
Never thought I'd
basically.
hear Jeff Francoeur on this podcast. Good God.
Bathy, put the picture of him climbing through the roof tile in the thumbnail. Okay. Yeah, the Casey Mears. I'm trying to think of who else in NASCAR would be related to that. Like
Ken Schrader.
Yeah, oh yeah, Ken Schrader. Yeah, big
He's just there for the vibes half the time.
big vibes guy.
Yeah, so not a lot really happened in this game. I mean, like, Anthony Richardson allegedly started at quarterback. Trey Sermon allegedly started at running back.
Supposedly.
Tyler Goodson allegedly scored his first career touchdown in this game.
Which, if that's the case, good for him.
The Dolphins somehow managed to not get a single sack on Anthony Richardson in this game.
I mean, that is impressive too, because that guy loves to get hit.
He does.
Yeah.
He's got like a magnet on him, and somehow didn't get sacked in this game.
He's like, have you guys ever seen that clip of Lorenzo Neal, the old Chargers fullback, where he catches a pass and he's running downfield and he literally turns around so he can headbutt somebody? Like,
Dude's rock.
I imagine that's what Anthony Richardson does. Yeah, I mean, this was not a particularly great game from him either. I don't know how the Colts are 4-3. It's absurd.
And the only touchdown for the Dolphins was caught by, not Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle or OBJ. No, it was caught by Jonnu Smith because of course it was. He had 96 receiving yards in this game, which was 30 more than any player on either team.
Dude, the Dolphins are so bad. It's so like they weren't even good with Tua in. Is the crazy thing. Like you think about, they barely beat a terrible Jaguars team that took a ridiculous comeback to pull off, and then they're like with Tua in, they are getting their asses whooped by the Bills before his head go hurty.
And their only other win this year was against, them only beating the hapless Patriots because of a really weird rule about toe dragging in the end zone.
Yeah.
So, like, this could very easily be an 0-6 football team right now.
Yeah, they are much worse than their 2 wins show.
It sounds
Even
like
if
Tua might
comes
be.
back.
It sounds like he might be coming back, but soon. But like, even if he does, I don't know. I'm starting to think that the AFC East might be a 1 playoff team division this year.
Yeah, even if he comes back, even if he stays and he doesn't get hurt again, I don't think he has the capacity anymore to be an elite quarterback like that.
I don't know if I'd
a
boil it down to
weird
that.
team.
This just isn't a good team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dolphins are averaging 11.6 points per game so far this year.
That is putrid.
Oh,
They've only
terrible.
scored 70 points through 6 games.
That is absurd. Ugh.
Yeah, they've only hit 20 once. And actually, okay, so outside of the week 1 against the Jags when they got 20, since then they've scored 10, 3, 12, 15, 10.
Oh my god.
So they've only even hit 15, they've only hit 15 twice.
I'm not saying he should be fired, but I wonder if Mike McDaniel survives this season.
Didn't they extend him before the season started?
I think so. But I mean, there's no salary
clearly
cap
that
for
doesn't mean a
coaches.
whole lot in some cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dolphins have the most wealthy owner in the league. So they could cut him and just buy him out because it does not matter to him.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest though, it'd be really fucking funny as a fan of a division rival to see this team just completely cave in and not live up to any of its expectations. Gotta be honest.
Also, fun fact that I didn't know up until this weekend, Mike McDaniel is technically a minority head coach.
Oh yeah.
He's
What
half black.
minority is he? Nerd?
Alright, we should just move on from there.
I mean, he vapes, he wears glasses, he's a fucking dork.
He is a dork, yeah.
Moving on to what was probably the best game of the week, though.
Yeah, speaking of dorks, fucking Sam Darnold. I don't know. I loved Sam Darnold. What am I talking
The
about?
Lions somehow won this game, 31 to 29, and it was a game where at the end of the first quarter, it looked like the Lions were totally dead, and then it was the Vikings that looked totally dead, and then they were both just stabbing each other in the neck back and forth. And it was fucking awesome.
It was 2 hobos fighting in a phone booth for most of that game. Because we did watch most of this game.
This game ruled.
This was
It really
ridiculous.
Yeah, so this was a game where Brian Flores basically brought all the tricks because he has been blitzing at an absurd rate. And you would think that Jared Goff, one of the least mobile quarterbacks in the last 15 years, would be a prime quarterback to dial up all those blitzes against. And they did. They blitzed on, I think it was 40 or 54% of all defensive snaps, and Jared Goff carved them up against the blitz. His numbers against it was absurd. So that backfired.
I do want to point out, over their last 4 games, the Lions have scored more touchdowns than Jared Goff has incompletions.
That is ridiculous.
What the fuck?
I think they have 18 offensive touchdowns, and he has 16 incompletions in those 4 games. They have been winning at an absurd clip, and they just took out one of the last unbeaten in the NFC and a division rival. So
Wait,
I guess
hang
even
on.
without Aiden Hutchinson, this team is still a juggernaut and a half.
The Lions went for a 4th and hang on.
Oh yeah, are you talking about in the first quarter that when they went for it? Yeah,
On 4th down from their own 14-yard line?
that was a fake punt. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
I think it was.
Oh my god.
Dan Campbell plays
fucking
absolutely sicko football, and it's
I love
awesome.
Dan Campbell so much. I wish he coached my team. Yeah, I mean, this was just like the passing stat that you were reading off earlier. Just tells you all you need to know. Which is why I'm going to start making my campaign for Jared Goff for MVP this year.
Not ridiculous.
Just insane.
At all.
Yeah, like you said, more touchdown passes than incompletions across 4 games. In case you thought his 18 for 18 game was a fluke, he was 22 of 25 with no turnovers in this game. I mean, on the other side, like Sam Darnold also 22 of 27 for 260. Like,
And
both quarterbacks played their asses off in this game.
Yeah, pound for pound was one of the most evenly matched games I've ever seen. The
Yeah.
Vikings weren't out of it until the very, very end.
No. And even then, they had a late scoring barrage, or a 4th quarter scoring barrage to make it close. But thinking that without Aiden Hutchinson, their pass rush is going to be lacking. Well, it's oh god, who was it? Is there like 4th stringer who gets the game-ending sack on the Hail Mary attempt? Trevor Nowaski, that's who it was. Gets the game-ending sack on Sam Darnold and advances the Lions not only to 5-1 but to the lead in the division.
Trevor Nowaski attended Saginaw Valley State.
That's not a real place.
What the fuck? I mean, good for him, I guess. But like, what the hell?
Yeah. Where's that from? Wait, can I take a guess at where that's from or where that is? I'm gonna
Sure.
say
Go ahead.
Montana.
No, that is Michigan.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah,
Anyway.
so local kid, I think. I don't know where his hometown is, but he went to college not far from Detroit. At least that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Got him the win. And yeah, now we got 2 5-1 teams at the top of the NFC North, and a 5-2 team right behind them, and a 4-2 team right behind them. So like, none of these teams can afford to slip up at all the rest of the year. Like, they're all going to be neck and neck with each other, and even one loss could take you out of the division.
Do you remember
It's
coming
nuts.
into this season when we were like, yeah, the Vikings are probably going to be bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. When
Well-
JJ McCarthy's leg exploded and we all thought they were going to go over,
Yeah, we
and
were
then
like,
Sam Darnold has brought them to the promised land.
we'll be rooting for Sam Darnold as a meme, and we're like, oh wait,
Oh,
he's actually
shit.
doing very well.
Like, now wait a
a
damn
meme?
minute.
I've been on this. I've been on this for years.
That's true. We've all been Darnold truthers this show.
Taking the Darnold pill.
This performance was Darnoldian.
the universe. The universe had to give him mono in order to hold him back. He would have been too powerful if it didn't happen.
Not even mononucleosis can stop Sam Darnold.
Anyway,
You know who was stopped?
who?
The New York Giants.
Yeah,
They got their shit kicked in.
They had to be going in order to get stopped.
That's true.
This
Alright,
team
yeah.
blows ass.
Yeah.
I was losing my mind when I was listening to Heed the Call last week, and despite how bad they were on that Sunday night game, that Mark Sessler, one of the hosts of that, who I adore, I love him, but he was like kind of like romanticizing the Giants, and I was like, what fucking team did you watch? And it showed. Saquon had his homecoming to the Giants stadium, and
he lit them the fuck up.
yeah, much like the jerseys that were being lit up, he also torched the Giants defense. So apparently when the team buses come into MetLife, they do basically like a whole loop around the stadium, and like Giants fans like organized like a mass Saquon jersey burning. Because nothing says getting revenge on this guy like burning something you spent $160 on.
Yeah.
And he proceeded to say, "Oh, we're burning stuff because I'm going to torch your fucking defense for Hang on, let me pull it up real quick. 176 yards and a touchdown.
Dude.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley had more rushing yards in this game than the Giants had yards total. The Giants finished this game with 119 yards of offense, which was their fewest in a game since 1999.
We did get a Drew Lock sighting.
We also got a Kenny Pickett sighting.
Oh, that's
Yeah!
I forgot he was on the
Immediately
Eagles.
got sacked for an 8-yard loss.
Speaking of that, the Eagles' defense had 8 sacks in this game. They are missing Andrew Thomas badly.
Oh, yeah.
I also would like the two of you to guess the week and year that Daniel Jones last passed for a touchdown at MetLife Stadium.
Oh, God.
I'm going to say week 15, 2022.
You are very close. It is week 17 of 2022. Daniel Jones has not passed for a touchdown in his home stadium in 659 days. And on that same topic, the NHL hosts outdoor stadium series games every year, and like 5 of them have been played at MetLife Stadium in the meantime. So 16 NHL players have scored goals at MetLife Stadium more recently than Daniel Jones has thrown for a touchdown there.
How much is he making per year?
Like 40 million?
Giants, you could have just employed me. Like, we would have had the same level of... I've scored that many touchdowns in that same number of time.
His cap hit this year is $48 million.
Yeah, for the hockey nerds out there, Alexander Romanov has scored more recently at MetLife Stadium than Daniel Jones. The Giants are fucked.
They're so bad. Like, even in their games that they've won, they've not been good.
I started believing their defense a little bit, and I mean, they still got 5 sacks, but this team
They just couldn't stop Saquon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do we need
not
the New
looking
York
great
Giants?
for the New York Football Giants.
I don't...
We
I don't
already
think we
make
do.
fun of the Jets enough. Like, they could
Okay.
just take it from there.
Their logo sucks, too.
I love that the two New York teams are a combined 4-10 this year. That warms my heart so much.
Oh, man.
I'm doing my part.
Yay! More on that later.
Moving on. Another NFC team. I don't know. Transition. When Antonio Pierce was hired as the Raiders interim coach, Mark Davis described him as, quote, "He knows what it means to be a Raider." And if that
Definitely
means
does.
constant controversy and quarterback swaps and hating your team and quickly falling apart, then he definitely knows what it means to be a Raider, because they fell to the Rams 20-15 to fall to 2-5. Gardner Minshew is inevitable because Aiden O'Connell was named as the starter for this game, and then he proceeded to break his thumb and go on IR, if I recall correctly. And Gardner Minshew came back in, and
he sucked.
3 interceptions.
Well, not only did he throw 3 picks, he was 15 for 34.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
It was bad.
It was ugly.
And lost a fumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brock Bowers is very good. That's
about it, though.
All the the Raiders have going for them right now.
That and Max Crosby, that's about where the buck stops.
Yeah. And it sucks because he fits them so perfectly, but don't be surprised if Max Crosby's on the move soon, because there's been some reports that he's not very pumped with Antonio Pierce either. Who, God, he loves to talk.
He does.
It bums me out how quickly things have turned for him, because we really liked him last year.
Bless you.
Dewey, what were you going to say?
Well, it sounds like the Rams might be taking trade calls on Cooper Kupp now, too.
Really?
Despite him not playing in this game.
Yeah,
Well,
they just announced that.
Oh, shit. Did they really?
Yeah. It sounds like the Rams have also called teams about trading him, too.
What the fuck?
Yeah, at the very least, they're looking for a second in return for Cup.
And it sounds like they're willing to take on some 2024 salary to make it work.
That
which
is
is
wild, because I was going to mention, because he's supposed to return from injury this week.
And I think
Um,
I think Puka Nakua is coming back pretty soon too. Which I mean, I guess that makes Nakua wide receiver 1 if that does happen. But like, that's still quite the heel turn from where the Rams were literally a year ago.
Yeah, well,
Like
because
losing in the playoffs by a point, and now you're, thinking about trading your franchise cornerstone, who was your Super Bowl MVP 3 seasons ago.
well, even if you look at it, yeah, they're sitting at 2-4. That division is not strong right now, right? The Seahawks are 4-3. The 49ers are in a tailspin, and the Cardinals are like frisky, but like this is a winnable division if you're the Rams. Because if everybody's getting healthy, you put Cooper Kupp and Puka Nakua back in the lineup, and all of a sudden it's like these games are winnable again.
Yeah.
That is so bizarre to me.
I mean, they do play the Vikings next and the Seahawks. Like, they're not the easiest 2 games ahead of them, but I mean, if they even win one of them, they're still within reaching distance of the division. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I guess they're looking at it like how we've talked about, that this is going to be kind of a recovery year, and next year they're going to push again, because I mean Matt Stafford is still playing very well. So I guess in that case, it seems like a smart move. But yeah, I'm genuinely surprised that they're looking at moving Cooper Kupp. But at the same time, like I'm not
Seeing
a
the
Super
rest
Bowl
of them,
winning
it makes sense.
GM. Yeah.
You might as well sell them for the value you can get now and try and get a pick for them.
Yeah, they might also be looking at this like, this is 2 seasons in a row that Cooper's missed significant amounts of time, and how much longer is he going to be able to play at this level? So
Yeah.
get what you can for him, I guess.
He's over 30. I mean, wide receivers don't tend to age well.
Yeah.
Get what you can for him while you can.
Damn.
It makes sense. It's still just surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in other news, I guess that's
Yeah.
all I had to say about that.
How about
game.
that?
The Raiders are some butt ass shit. Speaking of
Hey.
some butt ass shit,
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Yeah. The Commanders defeated the Panthers 40-7, and if you thought that this was the largest margin of victory against the Panthers this year, you'd be wrong. This is their second largest defeat of the year, and it was by 33 points.
I want to look up what their point differential is. Hang on.
They have scored 110 points, and they've allowed 243 for a point differential of negative 133
Oh my
Ugh.
god.
through 7 games. So they're on pace to, like, that's going to be like about 300 at this rate by the end of the season. They're
bad.
not good.
They got dotted up by Marcus Mariota.
Yeah. Okay. So that's maybe the craziest part about this.
It's
is,
awesome, though.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels leaves the game with a rib injury early, and like briefly, it's like, okay, maybe the Panthers can hang around in this, and then Marcus Mariota was like, nah.
I
Because-
honestly, I'm very
Okay.
happy for him that he had a game like this. It's been a while
Yes.
since he's had extended game action, and for him to make the most of it like this and do what he did was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I've always liked Marcus Mariota.
Oh,
He
He's
got
not-
a raw deal.
Good, but he's good enough.
Better than people make him out to be, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. After they get a pick 6 off Andy Dalton on the Panthers' first drive, and it was just like, oh god, here it goes from here. And a field goal and a punt, and then following that, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, touchdown, field goal, kneel to end the game. Like this offense is unbelievable. Like the Cliff
Yeah.
Kingsbury revival is just nuts to see.
Yeah, we really had a Marcus Mariota to Zach Ertz touchdown in this game, as we all thought would happen.
This
Welcome back
fucking
2017.
Madden 18 ass
And-
franchise mode play.
There was also a touchdown to Ben Sinnott in this game, which was his first reception of the season.
And I'm gonna see how many receptions did he have before this season.
He's a rookie, so 0.
So his
Now-
first career reception is a touchdown.
Yeah, he had two receptions for 6 yards and a touchdown,
Hell yeah.
and those are his first 2 targets too.
That was more reception yards than Bryce Young had passing yards.
Yeah.
Because, okay, this is maybe one of the most telling things about this, right? Is Andy Dalton was not good in this game. 11
No.
of 16 for 93 yards and 2 picks.
No.
One of those, like I mentioned, was a pick 6. This game was never in question, and yet they waited until the very last garbage time drive of the game to put Bryce Young in, which very much was like, hey, let's show the league that we still have Bryce Young if you guys want to trade for him, but don't actually let him do anything, because if they see that he can't throw, nobody's going to trade for him. And if he gets hurt, nobody will trade for him. So, because
look at how good he is handing off the ball to Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah. If they were actually interested in developing him, Andy Dalton would not be playing right now.
Yeah, if you're listening to this podcast, you had more passing yards than Bryce Young this week.
Ugh.
I would
feel for
like
the dude,
to
man.
direct your attention to something else that's really funny. After last season, Deontay Johnson demanded a trade for Pittsburgh Steelers for good reason at the time, not getting enough targets, not getting enough yards. And so far in this young season, he has 357 yards through 7 games. And for reference, I forget where I was going with this, but anyway, it's really
it's
funny
an average
to see
of 51 yards per game.
Yeah, it's really, really funny to see him demand more playing time and then go to the worst team in the league. For what it's worth, 3 targets, 1 reception, 17 yards today.
Yeesh.
I can't remember who Deontay Johnson was traded for, but that guy might be the happiest guy in the world right now.
I'm going to see who that was.
Dante Jackson, our
That's
cornerback.
right. Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll find out if he did anything later.
He did
Yeah.
not.
Damn.
I'm really starting to wonder now if could Dave Canales be the second consecutive Panthers coach to get fired in the middle of their first season?
Be their third fired midseason just in general, too.
Like, I don't want to jump to a conclusion with him, but clearly he was hired for, like, one main thing, and that one main thing, like, they could not be further away from it right now.
Yeah, that is the concerning thing.
Dave Canales was signed to a 6-year contract with the Panthers.
To
see them cut him after half a season in a 6-year contract would be outrageously funny.
I could see it though, because again, like the whole idea was, furthering the development of Bryce Young, who you basically gave up your fucking franchise for, and instead you bench him after a game and a half, and you're only throwing him in when Andy Dalton sucks too much, and it's just like you're not developing him at all at this point. You're just throwing him in when you feel like you need to, and it's
is there anything to develop? I mean, that dude is far and away the worst quarterback in the league.
I still feel like if he went to a different team, they could at least get a little more out of him. But the fact that the Panthers can't even get that little bit more out of him, I think is an indictment on the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely more in the tank for Bryce Young than what he's shown. I have full confidence in that. There's a reason why he was picked number 1. There's a reason why he was so good in college. But, like, the fact that the Panthers can't even get that little bit more is just so telling for so many different people. And it just sucks because, again, for how much they gave up for him, they're still feeling the effects of that trade, I think, through the draft next year. And so they've just set themselves so far back now, while also not getting what they needed to get out of it. And it's just one thing after another with them.
They basically just have to ride out the season and just let it happen at this point.
Basically, yeah. Unless you can somehow find like somebody who's willing to give up something for him now.
I think there's a couple teams that are stupid enough to trade for him.
Yes, I mean somebody
as
will
I-
flip. I mean, fucking Josh Rosen got a late second round pick after his
Genuinely,
disastrous
I
rookie
could see the
season.
Chiefs doing it.
Don't you say that, because he will be good if they do that.
But that's exactly why I said that, because if there's any situation that he could go to, that he could get something out of him like that, it is Kansas City sitting behind Patrick Mahomes.
I'm so mad just thinking.
I don't
want to
think about it. A Bama quarterback going to Kansas City and winning a million rings, I think. Actually, no, I can't say that over the air.
I feel like I know
Oh,
what you're
no.
gonna say. So yeah, Commanders still very good. Panthers bad. Speaking
Very
of the Chiefs
bad.
in Kansas City, by the way, the Chiefs rolled to a 28-18 win over the 49ers. This was one of the more infuriating games I've ever watched in my life.
Both of these teams were fucking terrible in the first half.
Yeah,
Or maybe not first half, but maybe like up until about 5 minutes left of the second quarter.
the Chiefs did that thing where they just blow ass for the most of the game, and then they're just like, "Oh wait, we should probably score, shouldn't we?" And then they score, and that's exactly what happened. And meanwhile, the 49ers could not get out of their own way this entire game.
Yeah, Brock Purdy was pretty ass.
Yeah, so that was probably the most shocking thing. Is like Brock Purdy's been pretty fucking good this year. Like there's obviously been doubts over how much is it the system that he's in and the players around him, and how much is it just Brock Purdy playing really well. Brock Purdy is like almost dead last in yards after the catch in terms of receiving yards this year. He's been playing like extremely well, and he was just completely like flummoxed by this Chiefs defense, which has been, I mean, lights out all season. But 3 interceptions,
Also,
a terrible interception, like down in the red zone that basically ended this game for them. What were you gonna say?
well, it also didn't help though that, like, you know, outside of George Kittle, the most reliable, healthy receiver for him in this game was Ricky Pearsall, who was literally making his NFL debut after being shot 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Like, they're just bleeding everywhere.
Yeah. Jordan Mason was
Terrible
slowed.
choice of words.
Oh yeah, fuck. Oh no.
George Kittle,
Oh
I
no.
believe, sprained, I think, his foot, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
Deebo Samuel had pneumonia and could only play like the first drive. Brandon Ayuk tore his ACL and MCL.
And they're still without McCaffrey. They're still without Dre Greenlaw. They're still without Hufanga. They're still without like 3 other guys.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is
and
a
the-
season from hell.
Yeah, and the worst part about this is this was a very winnable game up until that last interception by Brock Purdy.
It has the same vibe that the 2020 Niners had when Garoppolo got hurt super early in the year and they just tailspinned after that.
Yeah.
I think they might be heading that way now with this team.
So,
but
there's also a weird report, and this might be what you were mentioning, that Kyle Shanahan allegedly just like lectured Brock Purdy by his locker for like 5 minutes after this game.
I did see that. That is from Grant Cohn, the beat reporter for the Niners, is generally not trustworthy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So the way I
Take it
took
with a
that
grain of salt.
is coach talked to quarterback after tough game.
Yeah.
Grant Cohn is like the Nick Bromberg of the 49ers.
Oh, okay.
In that he hates them and wants them to be terrible.
Speaking of which,
That's not a good comparison.
Yahoo, you should pay me to take Nick Bromberg's job, because I
That's
also
real.
don't go to the races. So
True.
True.
I don't
real.
even think he does racing anymore. I think he just does college football. Which is
I mean,
why
I don't
that checks out. I've heard a lot less shitty takes from him recently.
True, yeah. I also don't go to college football games. You should pay me to do his job also.
I do want to bring up. I want to bring up one thing real quick with the Chiefs too. Obviously, they, like the 49ers, are becoming very thin at wide receiver with the Rashee Rice injury and all that. But what the hell is going on with Sky Moore? He does not have a single reception this season. And he was their second-round draft pick only 2 years ago.
That is bizarre, yeah.
And you would think for a team that's as, injury riddled as the Chiefs are, that they'd be utilizing him way more, but he had I think 1 target in this game and didn't catch it.
Their offense just isn't good.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes has low-key not been great. He has more interceptions than touchdowns through 6 games.
Yeah, this is a team that's definitely built around its defense. There was a play in this game that pissed everybody off, and the more I think about it, the more it kind of pisses me off, which was the really long scramble that Mahomes had, where he faked going out of bounds. Dude, that
just light him up.
Yeah, okay. So
just hit him.
That is the most ridiculous, because I was going to mention this last week. It's every time I see Patrick Mahomes scramble downfield, everybody gives the most piss poor efforts at tackling him.
Because
it's
I feel
they're scared of getting flagged.
They're gonna get a penalty for it and give him 15 more yards.
He has now weaponized that to where he knows dudes aren't going to hit him down the sideline, and so he fakes he's going to go out of bounds and then keeps running. And it's
it's like the Kenny Pickett fake spike that got banned right after it happened.
The fake slide. Yeah, the fake slide.
Or the slide.
I was about to mention that. That is exploiting something that's meant to keep you safe for an advantage. And the problem is I don't know how you legislate that out of football.
Well, you really can't. It's self-policing.
You can't blame Mahomes for it either. Exploit any loophole you can to gain an advantage. That game the system
I don't blame him
as much
for
as
it.
you can. But as a fan, it's come on.
Yeah, it's frustrating to watch because it's
just
I'm not the kind of person who's gonna accuse the refs of favoring one team over the other. I'm whatever. I feel like everybody gets shitty calls, but it's stuff like that adds fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
Especially with the Chiefs of all teams, because there's a narrative forming around the Chiefs now with that.
Yeah.
I just think generally, once you're past the line of scrimmage, you're a runner and you should be able to be hit. And at some point, he's going to get lit up, just absolutely face fucked, going to the sidelines, and then we're going to see a rule for that.
Yeah. So,
it's infuriating that this team continues to find ways to win because they are not a good team. Well, it's like watching Jimmy Johnson.
They've taken a very, very clear step back since the end of the Super Bowl last year, but it also doesn't help that all 6 teams they've played so far this year just do not have any interest in outplaying them for 60 minutes and winning.
Yeah,
no.
They're just letting them win. They just get too scared of the idea of the Chiefs, and the actual Chiefs aren't that good. It's insane.
Yep. Chiefs. Oh, good.
I was going to say, I don't think they're going to finish this season unbeaten. I don't see any way they finish 17-0. But, the problem is, I think you give them a lot more confidence when you keep letting them win like that. And it creates the possibility that they actually do get better throughout the year just because they have that confidence. Or, man, we stunk and we still won. Well, if we play better, this won't be a problem. And come week 18, will probably be 14-3, and they're going to look like the juggernaut they were 2 years ago.
They currently remind me of the 2019 Patriots.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, which was a team that was coasting off the momentum of a title the year before, and that their offense was not good, but their defense was just carrying them. Because they started 9-0 that year, didn't they?
The Patriots started 8-0, and then they got blown up by Baltimore, and it fell apart.
Yeah.
And I think the Chiefs have more offensive potential. It's hard to count Patrick Mahomes out of anything, but
then that Patriots team, yeah, they do for sure.
Yeah,
that was end stage Pat Brady.
Yeah, I wonder when the sloppy play from Mahomes and the offense catches up to them. Mm-hmm. Which they face Buffalo in 4 weeks, so.
They got Tampa in 2 weeks, though. They're going to be shorthanded for that game.
Yeah.
Well,
more on that later.
That.
I've definitely got Buffalo circled for that now, though.
Yeah.
Buffalo and honestly Denver could give them some fits.
Yeah.
Denver's defense is really goddamn good.
Houston later in the year. Pittsburgh later in the year.
Speaking of Pittsburgh, should we go there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Steven, do you want to do the intro for this one?
The Pittsburgh Steelers beat the goddamn shit out of the New York Jets 37-15 to advance to a 5-2 record on the season. I'm happy.
Here's a list of things that have won more recently than the New York Jets. The Chicago White Sox. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Almost Ryan Sieg. I am sad. God. What?
Devontae Adams has lost to the Steelers twice in the last 9 days.
Yeah, he did.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he did the Marion Hossa.
Oh my god.
Yeah, not even Devontae Adams can save this Jets team.
Should we start with the Jets or the Steelers? Because I feel like we have a lot to say about both of them.
Why don't we start with the Steelers?
Okay.
Because I do want to point out, this was Russell Wilson's first start for the Steelers. He's been injured for this year. They brought him in, and he proceeded to throw for the most passing yards by a quarterback in their Steelers debut ever.
He looked fucking awful at the start.
Yeah.
And he was getting booed.
The first
and then he
quarter
dropped that
was
moon ball.
rough.
When he
That
dropped that
deep ball
moon ball to
was
Pickens,
beautiful.
he figured it out.
Yeah.
And
That
then
was
he
the light
just
switch.
kept going.
Like, when that deep ball happened, it was like, wow. It's like he remembered how to play football. And, like,
Yeah.
he didn't even look like Denver Wilson. He looked like Seattle Wilson the rest of that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so just put that in perspective. They start with a field goal drive. He doesn't do much on that drive. Punt, punt, punt. He starts getting booed. And then on their next drive, a 44-yard bomb to George Pickens. And then after that, field goal, punt, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Like, they caught fire and just could not be stopped. Najee Harris was unstoppable out of the backfield. Pickens, I mean, that was... Like, we saw flashes of what George Pickens could do the last couple seasons. And this was
But over
his,
a full game.
first, truly great game I've seen him have.
He
was
finally has that deep
uncoverable.
targets
Yeah.
to throw to.
And the Steelers defense just teed off on Aaron Rodgers and the Jets offense all night. Like, this
Good
was
picks
complete
from undrafted rookie Beanie Bishop Jr.
Oh my
in
God.
basically his 5th game or something like that, getting 2 picks off of Aaron Rodgers. And he said he was going to get them signed by Aaron Rodgers after the game.
That's awesome. Did he sign them?
I don't know. I don't think it happened yet.
There was also a really funny moment on their last drive where they were just running the ball over and over and over again just to run up the clock, and then Najee Harris still scored anyway.
It kept working.
Yeah. They were like, come on, Jets, stop us. We dare you. We don't want to keep scoring.
We even got a Van Jefferson touchdown in Big 2024.
I didn't even know he was on the Steelers until that happened. I had completely forgotten about his entire existence. And it's like, oh, he scored a touchdown.
God. Yeah, we were all fairly critical, I feel like, of this decision to start Russell Wilson.
It paid off, though.
It paid off. So
Credit where credit's due, and at this point, I think if you're Mike Tomlin, you ride the hot hand and let Russ start
absolutely.
as long as they play like this.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be the first stringer the whole season. You leave him in until he gets hurt.
Yeah.
Yep.
So and like everything they said, no disrespect to Justin Fields, he played very well.
Yeah.
For the majority of his time as a starter, but this is the kind of spark that the Steelers have been looking for.
Yeah. And he's great to have because you can run him in a package. You can make him into a Taysom Hill kind of guy now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You definitely play him in Wildcat and all that different shit, and just see where you can go with it.
Even then, you have a great backup if something happens to Wilson. So.
Mm-hmm. Only 30 yards from Davante E. Adams in his first.
Then there's the
game
Jets.
Gangrene.
Where did the Jets go from here? Because this is their
hopefully to the cellar.
Back to New York, I think.
Actually, it's New Jersey.
How about I kill you? How about that?
Yeah, they jumped out to an early, 15 point or 15-6 lead, I believe is what it was.
Yeah. And it should have been higher than that. And then there was that weird challenge play for the 2-point conversion or whatever it was.
That was bizarre.
That was
Oh
weird.
yeah, so it was on the touchdown, and Brees Hall like gets right to the goal line. Not sure, they ruled him short. Rodgers looks over to the sideline and like indicates to Ulrich to challenge it, and there's some discussion about it, and the play clock's running down. So Rodgers is like, "Fuck, okay, I guess we just got to go." Ulrich goes to challenge it and drops the fucking flag, so he can't throw it. Which ended up working out because Rodgers threw a touchdown on that play anyway to Tyler Conklin. But like, it was really funny that like it was almost the most Jets thing of all time that they took points off the board challenging a play that wasn't a touchdown. Actually, Freddie Kitchens did that, now that I remember, against the Seahawks in 2019, where he challenged a play, but he did it so late that Baker threw a touchdown on the next play, but it got nullified because they challenged it, and then the challenge came back negative, and then they turned it over on downs on the next play. So the Jets almost did that.
That'd have been the only thing funnier the game went.
Yeah, and then fucking Craig Sirlin's extra point was blocked. But
And called
yeah,
back on bullshit leverage.
Yeah, a penalty on
But
Minkah
then they blocked the
Fitzpatrick.
field goal later in the game.
Yeah, they did it the same exact way, and the way they all ran over to Danny Green,
The special teams coordinator.
That was awesome.
That rocked.
Dude, I just don't know where the Jets go from here, because like you trade for Devontae Adams, it's like, okay, we got our star receiver, and he is a non-factor in this game. Apparently, Hassan Reddick is ending his holdout, so they're going to sign him to some kind of deal. But it's like, okay, but I don't know. I just don't know what the answer is for this team, because we can keep looking at the Jets and think they're contenders, but like the only teams they've beaten this year are the Titans and the Patriots, who might be the worst two teams in the league.
Yeah, they're combined, what, 2-11?
They're another one of those that they got a bunch of good players, but they just don't have the rest of the team to make it a good team.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Freddie Kitchens, it's the 2019 Browns all over again.
Yeah.
It really is.
You spent all this time getting, hey, look, we've got one good corner and a good running back and like two good receivers in our quarterback, and oh, we didn't get an offensive line or a coach who knows what he's doing. Whoops. And those are like the two hardest things to fix.
It's just par for the course for the Jets.
Yeah.
We are through 7 games, and the Jets are only a game ahead of the Patriots still. Love
They
to
are
fucking see it.
Currently the 12 seed, just one spot ahead of the Jaguars and one behind the Raiders.
Yep, and the Jets and Patriots play round 2 this upcoming week, and if the Patriots win, I believe they will pass the Jets in the division.
Will the Jets be the first team to fire 2 head coaches in one season?
Just keep firing guys after every loss. See how far down the ladder you can get.
Aaron Rodgers is like, I'm the head coach now.
It's like Woody Johnson's gonna have to make a fucking line of succession, but for head coaches. Like, whatever the Jets equivalent of whatever the Jets equivalent of the Secretary of Education is, will be the head coach by week 17.
They're physical trainers and shit. Or are they gonna have Rodgers, like, he's on the sidelines?
Player coach.
Yeah, dressed up as a coach, and then he has to get into pads and everything to go under center.
No, he's got like like the sport jacket and everything, so he looks like an old coach, but it's really big, so he looks like David Byrne, so it can fit over his pads. And he's like, oh, I've got to go, and he like sheds.
Oh my god.
Matthew, put that in the thumbnail as well.
Yeah, the more I'll just say this again: the more the Jets suffer like this, the happier I get. It is beautiful to see a team with this much talent continue to falter and just disappoint every week.
I believe this is the most points the Steelers have scored in a win since they beat the Panthers 52 to whatever back in 2018.
Fucking Christ.
That is absurd.
Yeah.
Crazy what having a competent quarterback and a half-competent OC will do.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Also, while we're at it, bring back the block numbers full time.
On God,
That's
that is
real
the
as hell.
Steelers look. They should keep that permanently.
Also, I'm not usually a gray face mask guy, but the gray face masks look pretty sick too.
Yeah, that was pretty mean.
Yeah, bring it back. Yeah.
And the Steelers are still tied for the AFC North lead.
And they're going to the Super Bowl.
And the
They
Jets still look like fucking shit.
You
Let's
know
go.
who else might go to the Super Bowl? Is the Baltimore
that?
Ravens.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 41-31 on Monday Night Football.
A very
What the hell
deceiving final
happened?
score.
Yeah, this was a demonstration in how quickly things can go wrong. So, coming into this game, Mike Evans, the Bucs' leading receiver, had a hamstring issue. He scores the first touchdown of the game on the Bucs' first drive, and he's kind of like limping off the field afterwards. And it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, he's contributed at least. And then Baker throws he drops a pass basically that would have scored their second interception, and then Mike Evans ends up leaving the game after that. They settle for a field goal. And then after that, it just became a disaster for the Bucs.
It unraveled so fast.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson was unstoppable. Baker threw two pretty ugly picks. The first one, and it's what you'll see from Baker when he gets on one of those bad streaks where he's scrambling and just looking for something, and you can see it happen where his receiver in the back corner of the end zone raises his hand like, I'm open, and Baker just throws it to him, and he was not open, and Marlon Humphrey picks him off. And then on their very next drive, he throws a terrible pass to Marlon Humphrey again, and Humphrey gets injured because, like, there were two Ravens basically both going for the ball at the same time. That's how, like, not good of a decision it was. And they just had no answer for Lamar Jackson. And you're going to look at the stat line of this game and go like, oh, Derrick Henry was running crazy. I mean, 80 of those yards were from one play. Like, in the first
Derrick
half,
Henry was a no-show until about halfway through the third quarter, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do," and he
Yeah.
went and did it.
By the way, I'm Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Well, and the worst part about this too is the Bucs made it interesting in the fourth quarter, and that was probably the worst possible thing they could have done, because they score twice in the fourth quarter. They score their second touchdown of the fourth quarter to make it a 10-point game, or a 17-point game, and then they get the onside kick and drive all the way down, score another touchdown. It's now a 10-point game with about a minute and a half left. They force a punt from the Ravens, and you're in a situation where they've mounted this furious comeback. They've scored 3 times in the fourth quarter, and they're down 10 with like a minute and a half left. It's technically doable, but that's such a long
really-ish.
shot. And you look at what the Ravens are doing, where they pull Lamar Jackson from the game, and oh god, I'm drawing a blank on who their backup is right now.
I think it's Josh Johnson.
Yeah, Josh Johnson. And it was almost kind of like John Harbaugh was basically saying like, hey, I'm putting my backups in, even though you guys are like, let's just, concede essentially. And they don't do that, and instead the Bucs are driving downfield, and Chris Godwin suffers a really bad dislocated ankle, which is more than likely going to end his season. And all of a sudden, the Bucs are leaving this game 4-3, missing their 2 top receiving targets.
It sounds like too that might have been an illegal hip drop tackle on that play.
Yeah.
And I guess the league's going to review it in a couple days.
It's hard to tell because they never showed a replay because it was that bad.
It was bad.
It was that was bad.
And the thing that's concerning about it is a lot of times things like sprains and dislocations can be especially dislocated ankles can be way worse than breaking it.
Yeah.
And a prime example, I listened to it today. Logan Carnow is a Supercross rider who dislocated his ankle at the very first race of the season in like the second or third week of January this year. and it looked almost identical to the injury that Chris Godwin had, and he said that he's still limping from it, and it's been 9 months. So, like, that is very concerning.
Also, shout out to the Ravens defense for absolutely laying out Cade Otton every time he caught the ball.
Oh yeah, that was
Like, I don't know what it was, but I swear every time Cade Otton caught the ball, they hit him like 5 times harder than any other receiver in the game. It was fucking ridiculous.
Despite that, he still got 100 yards through the air.
Yeah. And Baker threw for 370 and 3 touchdowns, but it still was not a very good performance for the Bucs. I mean, it was like this game was 41-10 at one point. Like, it was not like this was not some shootout that went the Ravens' way. This was we beat the fuck out of you and we're gonna let you back into it to make you feel better.
Yeah.
But I mean, Lamar had as many touchdown passes as incompletions. He had 5
He almost
apiece.
had a perfect passer rating.
The deep ball to Bateman down the right side was gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
Probably one of the best throws of his entire career. I mean, Mark Andrews broke the team record for most receiving touchdowns in this game. I mean, it was just an all-around incredible game.
Who's he tied with again? Is it Todd Heap?
Todd Heap, yeah.
Hell yeah.
But it was just an insanely good game all around for the Ravens. And now all of a sudden, they were 0-2 with a lot of question marks. Well, now they're 5-2 and they're just dispatching every fucking team they come across.
It is really funny to see how paths diverge because the Ravens and Bengals both started out 0-2, and it was like, oh shit, like AFC North might be open, and then the Ravens are going straight up, and the Bengals are still kind of sputtering.
And there's the Browns.
Yeah, and then there's the Browns. So, just all around disaster for the Buccaneers. Especially when you think there might be some questions about the Falcons. They have to. I mean, even if they just lose, it's like, okay, whatever, you roll on, but you lose probably your 2 best players on offense.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Baker's the same player without Evans and Godwin. So.
And then the other Monday game, which why was this even on Monday night? Because of the matchup that it was, and why was this only on ESPN Plus? Nothing about this game made sense. And if you're wondering who the teams were, because I kind of forgot until it happened, it was the Chargers and the Cardinals, and the Cardinals won 17-15.
Well, there is one extremely important thing that happened in this game.
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
And I think you guys know what it is.
Yes.
'Cause he is Greg George, short king, proud of Glendale's football team, scoring all the touchdowns for you, punt return man, kickoffs too, he's Greg George.
Yeah, I wasn't lying when I said scoring all the touchdowns because Kyler Murray threw just one, and it was to none other than Greg Dortch.
We got
His
our
first touchdown.
down.
First Dortch down of the season.
And he had a kick return for 31 yards.
Hell yes. Kyler also had another play where he was like 5 yards past the line of scrimmage and put his hand up like, I'm scoring this bitch later.
That was incredible.
Yeah, I think I've
took off.
I've said this already, but it's always confused me how like out people were on Kyler Murray after like the last season and a half, and I was like, did people forget when he came back from injury and then basically ended the Eagles' season on a terrible Cardinals team? Like, I know there's been some problems with them finishing out seasons, but Kyler Murray is still a one-of-one talent in the NFL. Like, this guy's
absolutely
unreal.
Yeah, he's being wasted on the Cardinals.
A little bit. I don't know. I'm not as down on the Cardinals. I mean, the NFC West is very winnable right now, especially because they're only a game out of the lead. And I still think this team is probably a year out, but like I'm a little higher on them than people are. I think the Cardinals will be like a division winner contender next year for sure.
I think they could get there. If Marvin Harrison can keep developing. I think he'll be that Murray to Marv connection will be like Ben to AB. You know.
Well, okay. So did you guys? I'm assuming you guys didn't see this game in its entirety.
No, I did not watch this game.
So Marvin Harrison again was basically a non-factor all day, and there's been, there was the report that he's been a little unhappy. Kyler had his quote after week 1 where he basically said it's not my job to just feed him the ball every time, which people kind of had an issue with. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like, Kyler's not going to just throw you the ball if you're not open, Like, that's what a good quarterback does. And they showed the announcers were like complaining that they weren't feeding Marvin Harrison Jr. And then they showed like a highlight package of him just like giving quarter ass effort on a bunch of his routes. And then they were like, "This is why you gotta feed him more." And it was like, no, he should run his routes and get fucking open. So I don't know. Like the adaptation to the NFL seems like it's been tough so far, and that's concerning.
He did get a concussion right off the bat.
That's true. Yeah.
So I'm sure he's still working through that. But even then, I mean,
yeah, it's
never a good look to half-ass.
No, it's a little concerning so far, and I think he'll come around. He's such a talented player.
Yeah,
but
he's a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, he's and the thing that they're pointing out too is like he was at Ohio State, right? That's a team that basically their quarterback was told, yeah, just throw it to Marvin every time, he'll figure it out. And that's not the type of offense, unless you're Calvin Johnson, that you can run in the NFL. So, on the other side of the ball, though,
shout out to Justin Herbert for throwing for 350 yards without a touchdown or a pick.
Dude, I'm already over the Jim Harbaugh experience. Like, their whole thing was like, oh yeah, we're gonna run the ball and we're gonna play tough defense, and it's like, well, you don't run the ball very well. And you can't stop the Cardinals at the end of the game. And meanwhile, you have this fucking gem of a quarterback, and you can't find, like, you have Greg Roman as your OC, the guy who got run out of town because he couldn't figure out how to make Lamar Jackson into a great quarterback. And they can't figure out a way to score a goddamn touchdown in this game. Like, this is the most Chargers thing ever.
Well, they were going to score a touchdown because he had that deep ball down the left side to Jalen Reagor, who then proceeded to fumble it through the back of the end zone for a touchback. Like, that was going to be a touchdown, and then
also extremely Chargers.
Yeah,
this team is fucking infuriating.
We also got a 31-yard reception in this game from Stone Smart.
Yeah, my high school alumni.
and you know what? Shout out old friend Chad Ryland for kicking the game-winning field goal in this game, as we all predicted.
Dewey eating a lot of crow on that. Hang on, the Chargers have somebody named Tarheeb Still.
That's not a real name. I'm telling you, the Chargers just have a bunch of like those out of the park names. So they have Sleeve McDykel and a Bobson Dugnut on the line.
Dugnut, I forgot about that one. Tarheeb Still, what a name. They also have a guy named Otto, which fucking rules. We need to bring back the name Otto.
That's real.
This is also a great time to bring this up because one of the Cardinals' starting offensive linemen is named Hjelte Froholt.
Hang on.
He's from Denmark.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome. They have a guy named Tip.
But, I mean, is this not the most Chargers thing? Like, for years, they were cursed with terrible kickers, and now they have Dicker the kicker, and he goes 5 for 5, including a 59-yarder, and it's like, oh, but they can't score a touchdown, so it doesn't matter anyway.
They swung too far the other way.
Fucking Chargers. God damn it.
Yeah, they almost went death by kicker in this game, but Chad Ryland clutched up when he needed to, so...
Yeah. We gotta get Grant on the show, because he's a Chargers fan.
Poor guy.
I should note, by the way, that I don't have anything against Chad Ryland personally, because like his kick against the Giants that he missed is why we have Drake May now. But he just wasn't good. But yeah. I can't be mad at him having success somewhere else. I don't hate the guy. I think it's cool. He just had probably the best moment of his career in this game, and that's pretty damn nice. I'm glad he's having success. Good for him.
I gotta check this real quick. So if I was gonna say, because the Patriots losing that game is why they got Drake May, and I was like, well, then the Cardinals would have had pick number 3. Would they have traded it, or would they have just taken Marvin Harrison at 3?
They might have taken Marvin Harrison anyway, but
Yeah.
I'm pushing the narrative anyway.
Still funny to think about, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that was week 7.
One of the weeks
week.
of all time.
Yeah. Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Anyway,
They didn't play this week.
well, go Bears.
Oh yeah, they were on bye.
The Bears, in fact, lost to the bye week 41-10.
Oh, no, the Cowboys did, not the Bears.
The Cowboys lost to the bye week 59-3.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Bye week really going up in the power rankings this week.
Yeah.
What else is, I guess, going up in the power rankings? It's the dues.
Yeah, we are soaring in that department. So, mentioned a lot of the injuries already in the recaps, but we'll go through them again anyway. So, we mentioned Deshaun Watson. His Achilles exploded, so his season is over. Brandon Ayuk's season is over. Mentioned him tearing both his ACL and his MCL, so... I know a lot of people aren't a fan of it, but this is why players hold out to get the big contracts, because now he has guaranteed money to fall back on that he might not have gotten had he just played out his initial deal.
Get that bag.
Deebo Samuel mentioned him had pneumonia. He was hospitalized for that yesterday, and I think he was released earlier today. Don't know if he's going to play on Sunday, but not the greatest of situations for him there.
Cannot recommend pneumonia.
George Kittle also sprained his foot and is listed as day-to-day. Matthew Wright, who the Niners signed to replace the injured Jake Moody, was put on IR with a shoulder injury. So the Niners' kicker in their game against the Chiefs was none other than Packers legend Anders Carlson. Jaden Daniels mentioned him getting hurt as well. It was a rib injury for him. Week to week, might play, might not, who knows. Same deal with DK Metcalf, who sprained his MCL on Sunday. Braxton Berrios tore his ACL, so the Dolphins are down a wide receiver for the rest of the year. That injury to Aiden O'Connell, the broken thumb he has, likely going to keep him out 4 to 6 weeks. So Gardner Minshew, who's not playing well, will be starting again. Good luck to them with that. Sounds like Mike Evans will be out until the Week 11 bye for the Bucs, which is, I think, 4 more games for them. 3 or 4. And, of course, the injury to Chris Godwin will leave him out for the remainder of the year. So, 2 huge losses for the Bucs. And they also lost a big piece on defense as Jamel Dean got put on IR with a hamstring injury. So, not a great week at all for the Buccos. The Cardinals lost Dennis Gardeck for the year. He tore his ACL against the Chargers. And the Chiefs lost their starting corner, Jalen Watson, for the year. He fractured his ankle against the Niners. Not a good injury week at all, which is becoming a recurring theme this year. The Saints signed Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who had been cut by the Bills last week. The Raiders signed Desmond Ridder off the Cardinals practice squad to back up Gardner Minshew. It might have gotten worse for them. And the Browns signed Patriots legend Bailey Zappi off the Chiefs practice squad.
Good God.
So in the span of 8 weeks, Bailey Zappi has gone from 4-13 to 6-0 to 1-6. Quite the roller coaster there for him. The Saints signed Alvin Kamara to a 2-year, $24 million contract extension. So good deal for still one of the premier running backs in the NFL, despite the current performance of the Saints. Other news as well, mentioned earlier, Hassan Reddick ended his holdout and has agreed to a short-term contract, so he will report to the Jets and will likely play against the Pats on Sunday. Jamison Williams of the Lions got suspended 2 games for violating the NFL's PED policy, as did Kevin Seymour of the Commies, but he was suspended for 6 games instead of 4.
Did you guys see Jamison Williams' statement about it?
Something about taking it on the chin, I think.
The part where he clarifies which suspension it is really funny, because he previously got suspended for gambling.
Oh, that's right. Forgot about
Isn't
that
he the
already.
guy that puts like Oreo McFlurry on his burger or something like that?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Noah
look this up.
mentioned that the other day. Shout out Noah, friend of
I'm
the
gonna do
program.
some research. Hang on.
I think it was JMO that did that. Quite the guy the Lions have there.
Oh.
Correct. Yeah, there's an article on ESPN. Jameson Williams raves about Oreo McFlurry double creation.
Honorable mention for WTF moment of the week, but there's a better one coming. Andy Dalton and his family were in a car accident earlier today, so a bad week for Andy Dalton got even worse, but thankfully none of them were seriously injured or were sent to the hospital by ambulance, and he's being evaluated by the team medical staff, so glad that wasn't worse for them. Hope none of them are hurt that seriously. And then lastly, the news, friend of the program and legend of the game, Jay Cutler, was arrested last week for DUI and gun possession in Tennessee.
Dude's rock.
He refused a field sobriety test at the scene and was later taken to a hospital where a blood sample was taken after authorities got a search warrant. According to the police report, Cutler attempted to flee the scene after offering the other driver $2,000 to not call the police.
He probably had a moment where he was like, I used to be pretty mobile back in my day.
The police investigation also found Cutler had 2 firearms in his vehicle, including a loaded pistol. He was charged with DUI first offense, failure to exercise due care to avoid a collision, implied consent, possession of a handgun under the influence. He was released on $5,000 bond.
The man's was still celebrating Vanderbilt beating Alabama.
Yeah, he must have been.
Yeah.
Go Vandy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then our WTF or what the football moment of the week. For some fucking reason, Ndamukong Suh, of course, noted dirty player Ndamukong Suh, did an AMA and Ask Me Anything on Reddit, and it went exactly how you thought it would go.
Yeah, so I opened this back up to check because when I looked at this the morning that you posted it in our server, all of the responses or all the questions were great. All you need to do is go onto the AMA and then click on unanswered, and you'll find some great questions such as, "Hey Sue," from user SUCOBE. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. "Hey Sue, loved watching you throughout college and in the NFL. My question is, can you rank these in order of most memorable to least? 1. Shoving Evan Dietrich Smith's head into the ground 3 times and stomping on his arm. 2. Kicking Matt Schaub in the groin. 3. Low blocking John Sullivan. 4. Stepping on Aaron Rodgers' calf. 5. Kicking Alfred Morris's helmet off when he was lying on the ground. 6. Choking out Ryan Mallett. 7. Horse collar tackle on on Zach Zenner."
You know, I is it bad that I'm kind of curious for his answer for that now?
He unfortunately did not answer it.
Yeah.
Coward.
The first response, though, somebody includes clips of all of them. So, there's also, "Hey, about the stomping and kicking, what did known loudmouth Matt Schaub say to cause you to kick him directly in the dick? Follow-up question, what kind of man kicks another man in the dick?"
It's like 10 or so years ago, they did the same thing with James Neal, the hockey player. And the top question was, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around to hear it, do you still knee it in the face?
There was somebody said, "Why did you stomp that guy?" And then first response, "Which one?" Of all the players you've stomped on, which one was worth it the most?
I like the guy above that one that said, "Who thought this was a good idea?"
Did you get mad when Cam called you Donkey Kong Sue, or did you think it was hilarious?
Did you ever attempt to intentionally injure a player?
How much did you hate Jay Cutler?
Hopefully less now.
Oh my god.
Oh,
wait,
no.
wait. I like what's down here. How would one get a cylinder out of an M&M's tube?
I found one from Reddit user Clunky Exposition. It asks, "Have you ever considered taking up winemaking in retirement? I suspect you would be a natural when it comes to stomping the grapes." Somebody reply with an Ndamukong Sauvignon.
Oh man.
Oh,
Good
who
times.
came up with this? Who Can we get an Albert Hainsworth AMA next?
Oh God.
Hey, do you remember when you blinded that quarterbacks player or that Cowboys player? Yeah, that was awesome.
Remember when you laid on the ground and gave up that one time?
He's like, yeah, remember when I got paid $100 million to give up?
Boy, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
The more things
yeah.
change, the more they stay the same.
Oh man, I love terrible AMAs. They're always so good.
Hell yeah.
I guess we'll move on to Dunyan Rings. Starting in week
Well-
7 again. Panthers on there again. So they lost. once more.
Unfortunately, the Patriots lost the Dunyan Rings Bowl to the Jaguars, so I must nominate my Foxborough faithful here for the Dunyan Rings segment.
Yeah, I am. I'm down with that too. I think they're done.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson's Achilles.
Yeah.
I don't know. There could be a comeback. No.
Did we put the Browns on there yet?
Yeah, they were on there last week.
Fuck it, put them on there again. They deserve it.
No, they actually might be better now that Watson's gone.
Oh shit! Yeah. What if
Yeah.
Jameis leads them to the playoffs? Oh fuck. Let me go look at the list of teams again. Go through this.
I think we
real
should
quick.
put the Giants on there now.
Yeah, I would be down.
Yeah.
What is their record?
2-5.
Yeah, I'm putting the Giants on there. They're Dunyan Rings.
I'm leaning the Saints too.
I wanted to pitch the Saints. They're 2-5, and that was one of the worst losses in franchise history. I think that's the kind of
2-5.
loss that breaks a franchise.
Having lost 5 in a row, they're done. You know.
Yep. All right. Well then,
Oh,
this
the Panthers lost. We have to put them back on there.
Oh yeah, they're on there. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So the teams that are officially Dunyan Rings, we Dunyan Rings to the Panthers after week 1, and I still think it's gonna pay off. The Dolphins after week 5, Browns and Raiders after last week, and then the Patriots, Giants, and Saints just joined them this week. Some other additions: Bryce Young, the Panthers again, Bryce Young again, the Jaguars' private jet and their offensive coordinator, Bryce Young again, the fans, and Will Levis pictures in the thumbnail. So
Put Bryce Young on there again.
oh yeah, okay.
I think the best part too about us Dunyan Ringsing the Panthers after week 1 is that they were beaten that badly by a team that got Dunyan Rings before the halfway point in the season. Like that was a double, triple, deluxe Dunyan Ring.
It was like they infected them, and there was
Yeah.
like a 2-week incubation period.
And would also like to put,
You're now the Panthers.
would also like to nominate Jay Cutler's sobriety for Dunyan Rings.
Aww.
I don't know. I think it can make a comeback.
Yeah.
I-
Count him
yeah.
out yet.
For now, though. For now.
Yeah, he's on. He's like next to the deep fryer. He's close though.
Next man up.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, because the Panthers went 0-2, and then they benched Bryce Young, and then all of a sudden the Saints died. So
It was a sign.
They just transferred to Curse.
yeah, take my energy. So, yeah, and that was Dunyan Rings. Now we're on to pick they thems. Where last week, despite the fact that we varied our picks wildly, we all went 11-5. Big shout out to Dewey, who started out 4-5 and then won 7 straight to end.
I like how we did that too, despite all of us picking a tie that was wrong. That was a thing of beauty right there.
I was on pace for a really good week, and then the Jets and Bucks fucked me. So
That's what you get for picking the Jets.
yeah,
I picked the Browns, and the Browns lost, so America wins.
You still
Yeah.
won.
I'm trying to
Exactly.
I'm looking at what were our most embarrassing losses last week. Somehow, yeah, we all picked the Broncos, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. 2 of us picked the Falcons.
Yeah, that one. That's probably the one.
Steven,
Idiots.
you picked the Browns and the Giants.
Yeah, I'm not too proud of that one,
Yeah.
I mean,
but it was for the greater good.
I mean, my Pats won by default, but that's becoming
Yeah.
a recurring theme now anyway.
I was the only one to pick the Jets and Bucks.
It's
Hate
okay.
it
I
here.
picked the Chargers.
Hey, it almost
mean-
worked.
Yeah, you were close.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, I was a field goal away from the Texans being right. Sometimes that's just how it happens.
Yeah. Them's the breaks.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll move on to week 8 for pick they thems. Starting with Thursday night, it's Vikings at Rams.
I will be locking the Minnesota Vikings
That's interesting.
I will also be taking the Vikings.
with the rumors that they might be shipping off Cooper Kupp, and the team's already banged up as it is. This is going to be a slam dunk for the Vikings.
Yeah, I wouldn't go so far as to lock the Vikings, but I do think they're going to win this game relatively handily.
Yeah, Vikings across the board. Then we kick off the Sunday afternoon slate with Packers at Jaguars. Well, Doug Peterson, you saved your job for another week. Build some momentum here. This could be a career-defining win, but good luck.
Well, is he
I
going to
will
do that?
be taking the Packers.
Is he going to save his job, or is his tenure as Jags coach going to be ended against the team he won a Super Bowl with?
Wait, he won it? What?
Yeah, he was Brett Favre's backup when they beat the Patriots in '96.
Oh my God, he was. I was like, he was on their coaching staff. I forgot that he played for the Packers. That's right.
Yeah.
'Cause he
Needless
was
to say,
a
I'll
lead
be
guy,
picking the
yeah.
Packers.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Packers as well. Sorry, Jags. I believed in you last week. I will not be believing in you this week.
Well, pretty easy to believe in him last week.
True, yeah.
It's like believing in you to fucking wake up and get in the shower in the morning.
Steven, did you have the Packers as well?
Yeah, Packers.
I forgore. All right, and then
Morgor.
Cardinals at Dolphins.
Oh God.
Tua might be back. I don't know, man.
I'm gonna carefully pick the Cardinals anyway, but I'm not confident in that whatsoever.
I'm feeling good about the Cardinals. I'm gonna tell you, I thought about locking them if I'm being honest. I think the Dolphins are bunk ass football.
I will be taking the Cardinals.
You really just had a Cardinals sweep. When was the last time that happened?
We've swept the first 3 games too.
Good
We just-
God.
Pick in unison for all of them.
And-
Jets
that's
at
a-
Patriots.
Yeah, that's ending right now.
I'll take the Jets. Since somebody's going to pick the Patriots.
You know what I'm doing.
Good
Forever and
luck with
always.
that.
I mean,
Now comes the difficult decision.
okay, I have to be 100% honest. I kind of gassed up the Pats before the Jaguars game, but at the same time, like looking at this one, the Jets are clearly a more talented team, and the Jets won by a lot the first time they played. But looking at it now, the Jets are a toxic, reeling tailspin with an interim head coach where none of their talent can mesh well together. And Drake May is looking like a legitimate franchise quarterback already after 2 games. I don't think it's far-fetched for the Pats to fuck around and win this game. I think it's
You're
less
right.
likely than with Jacksonville, but it's not impossible.
You're right, but the Jets are still going to win.
Yeah, probably. I'm gonna try though. I think I'm a good salesman.
I want to
Ish.
take the Jets, but this game
Please pick
has
tie.
tie energy.
Yes!
Pick a
Yes!
tie. We have to pick a tie.
I've picked a tie almost every week this season. Fuck it, I'm doing it again. They're gonna tie.
Let's go.
Wait, what's the weather look like on Sunday there?
Let me tell you real quick, because I don't know.
Because if
We're
it's
gonna-
like a bad weather game, this is tie
It's
written all over
going to
it.
be
Granted,
sunny
this-
all day.
Granted,
Fuck.
this forecast is 5 days out, but for right now, it is looking like let's see, 55 and mostly sunny for game day.
Got them right where they want them on the ground.
Fuck it. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with tie. Fuck it. Ravens at Browns.
Locking the Ravens.
Come on.
Yeah, I saw that one coming.
I'll be
I mean,
taking the
well,
Ravens.
Well, yeah, I'm still gonna lock the Ravens, but fired quarterback game.
Fired quarterback?
I don't know if that's necessarily a thing.
Yeah, his Achilles fired him.
Oh, oh no. Yeah, I'll be taking the Ravens as well.
Will not be a happy ending in Cleveland on Sunday.
Yeah, keep that man
Yeah.
away from rehab facilities, please.
Eagles at Bengals. An
Ooh.
Eagles team that feels,
Ew.
despite their record, like 5 seconds away from implosion constantly, and a Bengals team that can't figure out if they're going to be good or not.
I'm taking a tie.
You know what?
They've
I was about to say the Eagles and Bengals have tied twice in the last 15 years. Let's make that
That's right.
back.
They did just tie recently. They're doing it again.
2008 and 2020, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why not make it 3? 3 times the charm. I'm picking a tie too.
Are you fucking kidding me?
All right, you can have it. I'll take the Bengals.
You're a bitch. We got to sweep the ties here.
Nope.
I thought about switching my tie pick to that, but alright, it's unbelievable. I will also take the Bengals because I don't want to pick the Eagles.
Someone's gonna look like a real idiot after this game, and by that somebody, it'll probably be me. But you know what? That's okay.
Oh my God.
Now they are gonna tie.
Yeah.
I'm committed to the bit.
It's gonna be the first ever correctly picked tie in Oofsides history, and Steven is gonna swap out of it.
I want it to be me so bad. I want to
God.
be the one that does it.
I see a more tieable game on this slate. Anyway.
I don't know if that's the way we should be going into game picks. Most of the time we're like, this game, I could lock this one and be like, dude, this is my tie. It's gotta be a tie. God. Colts at Texans.
Texans. I think this will be close though.
I'm gonna take the Colts. Because they're really missing Nico Collins.
Yeah, but Anthony Richardson is just gonna... It's gonna... Like,
Yep. But it's an AFC South matchup
That
in
is
the
true.
early afternoon slot. So about 2.5 people are going to see Anthony Richardson lay dong on NRG Stadium.
It just reminds me of... There's an old SB Nation video with Matt Ufford in it where he referred to NRG Stadium as Nerg Stadium. And that's how I pronounce it in my head every time I see it. Welcome to Colts at Texans here at Nerg Stadium. I'm going to be taking the Texans as well. Titans at Lions. I'm just going to go ahead and lock the Lions. So I'm just going to get that one out of the way.
We don't even need to discuss this one, I don't think.
Let's be real here.
The Titans are shit from a booty hole.
Butt ass shit. Some damn butt. Falcons at Bucks.
I would have picked the Bucks 36 hours ago.
Yeah, same.
I think because we've already seen this game once, and I thought a rematch with the Bucks at home I think would have been very much in their favor. But now, no Evans, no Godwin. I think their top receiver is going to be like Jalen McMillan, who's a rookie. So I'm gonna be taking the Falcons despite their performance on Sunday.
The only thing that is, I think the Bucks didn't have, or they were missing like quite a few defensive pieces in that game, which they're all back. That said, I think the Falcons are going to win this game. Just even despite the rough game they had this week, I think they're going to bounce back.
The Falcons are the Falcons. Give me the Buccaneers.
That's a very compelling argument.
Yeah, you drive a hard bargain.
Even just beyond the Falconness, their offense really ain't doing that much.
Yeah.
I could see a situation in which they get down with a lucky score or two, and they're just in a hole they can't pull out of.
I was gonna say the Bucks game is really like the only good offensive showing they've had, like start to finish this season.
Yeah, and their defense is back up to health. So even though they're missing so many keys on offense, I think they'll still have enough to pull out a win.
Oh, this next game is disgusting.
Saints at Chargers.
This is where my tie is coming in. This is my tie.
The Breeze Bowl.
Stoppable force versus movable object.
Did Johnny Abear ever play for the Chargers? I feel like he did.
Johnny who?
Did you say Johnny Gay Bear?
Or did I say Abear or Abear?
Oh.
Was this
I don't
first
know
name
why I
Johnny, or
heard
is it
Gay
something
Bear. I'm
different?
like, bro, what?
Fuck, what was that guy's name?
I don't
whatever.
fucking know.
I'm stupid. Whatever. Chargers. Fuck it.
No, I know. Or I don't.
Bobby
I don't know.
Hebert. That's what I'm thinking of. Right? Yeah, Bobby Hebert, not Johnny. He played for the. He was a quarterback. Played for the Saints. I thought he played for the
Cajun
Chargers.
Cannon.
As well. Played the
I've
Saints
n-
and Falcons.
He was the starting quarterback
Oh.
for the Michigan Panthers when they won the USFL championship in 1983.
I've never
Look at
heard of
that.
this guy before.
I know the name now that you've said it.
Yeah, I forgot his name. He was
Oh.
like a half decent journeyman quarterback, and for some reason I thought he also played for the Chargers. So,
Yeah.
anyway,
The Chargers obviously have not been that great this season. The Saints are in a fucking tailspin though. Give me the Chargers.
yeah, we did just deep fry them. So,
And they're about to get like double fried, like Korean fried chicken.
Bills at Texans.
New Orleans
Or
Saints
Texans.
tempura.
Bills at Seahawks. What the fuck am I talking about? I've lost my ability to talk at the end of this show.
You're a ability.
Me killing your family. I will be taking the Buffalo Williams.
As will I. Seahawks just came off a great game, but the Bills are clearly a much superior team with a newly retooled offense, taking the balls.
I want to pick the Seahawks, but I've already got too many picks where I go against the grain, so I think I'll take the Bills.
The Seahawks are 2-0 against the AFC East so far this year.
You're like, that's
And
it, I'm
didn't-
switching. Not really, though. Bears at Commies.
You know, this sneakily has Game of the Week potential.
It really does.
Montez Sweat revenge game too.
God, I don't. I'm gonna go with the. Fuck, this might be my first coin flip game of the season.
Yeah, this one is like
I can't find it.
actually pretty tough. The Rex Grossman Bowl.
Yeah. I am not gonna flip anything because I can't find a coin. Give me the commies. Fuck it.
Play
Sorry,
the
nerds.
music.
Oh.
I am declaring on this sacred day, October 22nd of 2024, that our team, the Washington Commanders, will take down the Bears. It doesn't matter if it's Jalen Daniels or Marcus Mariota or my fat fucking ass behind the center. They will find a way to win the game.
We are taking the Commanders.
Yeah, give me the our team.
Yeah.
Brings a tear to my eye when I hear that.
I was hoping if I spammed the button on my stream deck, it would just play it a bunch of times layered over itself, but it didn't do that. Hell yeah. I could probably
Worth
set
the
it to
shot.
Chiefs at Raiders.
Ew.
Ugh.
Ugh. I
Well,
will be taking the chefs.
the Chiefs are, in my opinion, the second weakest 6-0 team in the last 20 years. They're going to become the second weakest 7-0 team in the last 20 years because the Raiders aren't winning fucking shit.
All right, hear me out.
This would be the type of game that they upset, though, isn't it? Because the last time the
You're right.
Chiefs lost, it was to the Raiders last year.
Yeah, where Aiden O'Connell had like 8 passing yards.
Yet the Chiefs have won 12 straight games, including the playoffs, since then. But Aiden O'Connell's out, and Gardner Minshew has been butt this year. I don't see it happening this time.
I'm so tempted to take the Raiders to be stupid, but it's such a
Do it.
bad decision.
Do it. Do it.
Fine, give me the Raiders.
Yeah.
This would be the type of game that they fuck around and win.
See, if they still had Devontae Adams, I'd be more inclined to agree.
God, I'm gonna look
But-
back on this next week and be like, why the fuck did I pick the Raiders?
The quarterback play is just so inconsistent that I can't with the way the Chiefs defense is playing. I can't see a way they pull it out this time.
We're about to get good Gardner Minshew. Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm cool with that. I just don't see it.
Yeah. Panthers at Broncos.
I'll be taking the Bonko.
Who likes offense? Not I.
Broncos Conti.
I will also be taking the Broncos.
Broncos might reach 5 wins before the 49ers do.
That's fucking insane to think
As
about.
we all thought would happen.
Yep.
Speaking
Cowboys
of the 49ers,
at 49ers. Sunday Night Football. This is the ultimate test on whether or not the 49ers are actually okay. Because if they lose, they're bad. Because it's the Cowboys.
This is tough.
I'm going to pick the Cowboys just because of how injury-riddled the 49ers are. At full strength, I would take the Niners every day of the week, but the injuries are just piling up all over the place, and they looked awful on Sunday, and they're not really getting any of those pieces back this week, so Cowboys it is.
I'm going to take the Cowboys as well. Yeah.
Really?
I don't feel good about it, but I am going to take them.
I feel like the Niners could still win, but again, they're just down so many different people that
Yeah.
it's just I think at this point it's just becoming more of a talent mismatch.
I think I'll take the 49ers just because the Cowboys are not a good team.
Well, that's the thing. The Cowboys really aren't anything special so far, but again, they're playing a bunch of backups right now is essentially what's going on.
Yeah, but the pieces they have left are still good enough to be better than the Cowboys. I don't know. We'll see. It's just very interesting. I thought this was going to be a 49er sweep.
Idiot.
I mean, I think it would have been if they were healthy, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think even then, the Cowboys are just not a good team.
You are right about
baby.
that. They're not
And
good.
for the second straight week, we have a why the fuck is this the Monday game? Come on.
Giants at Steelers.
I'm going to pick the Steelers with the caveat that they're not really that good on Monday night.
6-2 steel curtain. Give it to me.
Yeah, I will also be taking the Steelers because the Giants are some butt-ass shit. And that is Week 8 Pick'ems.
All right.
So, completely unrelated to anything, I forgot to bring it up while we're talking about this game. Shout out to Trent Williams for punching the fuck out of that Chiefs player on Sunday.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Right. Why would you punch a guy with a helmet on?
I don't know, but like for NFL standards, that was a hell of a punch.
Oh, he lit him up.
But also, like, the referees clearly seen the Chiefs player punch him, but they only ejected Trent Williams for it.
Yeah.
Like,
Fortunately,
come
they're
on,
always
man.
gonna get the guy who retaliates. So.
Yep.
And yeah. Anyway, that was another episode of Oofsides.
Since we did not have a moment for this day in football history, I'm going to replace that with a shout out to Heath Miller, Steelers legend. Today is his birthday.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. Actually, what if we just do that every week? We just shout out a random player from our favorite teams past. Just name for the hell of it.
That's what I've been doing.
Shout out to Christina Applegate.
Yeah! Shout out on this day to Patriots legend Jabbar Gaffney.
Another shout out to Steelers legend Alan Rossum. I believe today is also his birthday.
Oh shit! Everybody on the Steelers was born on the same day.
Yes,
Look at that.
October 22nd.
It's a prerequisite for being on the team.
The Steelers
Alan
been scouting
Rossum,
hospitals.
famously the kick returner for the Steelers in 2007 when they played the Dolphins, and that ball got stuck in the ground.
Oh my gosh!
And that's the only reason I remember him.
Be cool if that happened again next Monday. That's like a commemoration of that. Run it back.
True.
I mean, it's the Giants. Not like anything's gonna happen with them anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Well, on that note, since we're rambling now, we should probably get out of here.
Yeah.
This has been Oofsides on Track and Turf Media, as always. You can listen to the Fake Racers podcast. Go listen to us be sad about another goddamn Joey Logano win.
Man,
Even Logano strikes again.
I'm
It's
so
inevitable.
mad that I called that was going to be an all that for a Logano win. I'm like genuinely upset with myself.
this is all your fault. You should feel
Yeah.
bad.
Can't believe it.
Unbelievable, this guy.
You can follow these two guys down below on the Twitters, and we'll see you next time.
Football.
Oh yeah, shout out to the Celtics too for having their ring ceremony tonight. Banner number 19 on the way.
Who cares?
Ta-da!